TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
Oh, you beauty! Jota on the volley, oh, a goal! That is simply stunning! Neves takes 2 touches, good catch! Oh, my word! Oh, you are kidding me! Ruben Neves has just called one into the top corner on the edge of the penalty area! The Portuguese maestro conducts another masterpiece!
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app.
A very good evening to you and welcome to the MSV Arena in Duisburg. This is Matchday Live Extra on a night like none other that we have experienced. Certainly doing this programme, a night like we haven't experienced at this football club for the best part of 5 decades. It is quarter-finals night of the Europa League. Wolves are potentially 90 minutes away from the final 4 of one of the most prestigious club competitions going. I'm Mikey Burrows, lots of guests to join me on this programme, and fortunately, because of social distancing and all sorts of other reasons, it means that some of my regulars couldn't be with me, but we can say a big hello to Andy Thompson in just a moment. I think we're going to lose him in just a second. It's not the greatest of connections that we've got here, but hopefully everybody can hear me. I can see Chris Iwelumo smiling, Alex Rae, Andy Thompson as well. Good to have you all with us, guys. We did a special preview show from the stadium here yesterday. Dave Edwards, Matt Murray, the King, John Richards, amongst those who joined us for it. And kind of, there was an air of, I say optimism rather than confidence, maybe. Tomo, how are you feeling at this stage?
I'm feeling confident, but I think it's going to be difficult. Sevilla are a very good side. And so it's going to be difficult because they've got a reputation in this competition as well. And look, on a one-off game, we've got enough to hurt any team who we come up against with the firepower that we've got. I know that he's playing the 2 up front. He's overloading the midfield area, but it should be a good game. It should be a good game.
Just on the back of that, with what Tom was saying there as well, it's showing you Nuno, his management. You know, he's seen something that never quite worked. He tweaked it in the game, and like Tomo said there, he's overloading that midfield, isn't he? So hopefully that will give the likes of Inagri and Doherty a little bit more space to kind of bomb forward and try and be on the front foot. But you know what? I think it's a perfect opportunity this evening, isn't it? You know, you think the way that Sevilla are going to play, they're probably going to have more of the ball, which means we'll be compact, we'll be hard to beat, hard to break down. But we've got the quality and the pace to kind of go forward with that quality and create chances on the counter attack. And I just think having the likes of Dendoncker, Matino and Neves and that 3, that they'll rotate anyway, but just allows us to get on the ball and try and how can I say, pounce and attack in the right way. But what I will say, against Olympiacos, when we were on top, we got the goal. And that's so important for the mentality and the mindset of any players, that when you're on top, you make sure that you score that goal. You're not going to have all the match your way. Then you sit in, you protect that lead, and then you go again. So I just think tonight's a perfect opportunity. And like Tomo says, it's a one-off match. And I just think that's better suited for Wolves.
Alex, how are you feeling about it all?
Yeah, I'm excited about it, Mikey. I've looked at the way they're setting up tonight, and I think it'll be a case of being patient. I think the fact that they've put another midfielder in there is, I don't think Nuno wanted to get overloaded in the middle of the park, because Sevilla play with 3 in the middle, and if they just 2 players, they'd have got overrun and they would have dominated the match. And I think that's why he's gone with the 3. But nothing really changes. They've always sacrificed a wider guy, so it'll be very much what they've been familiar with over the course of the season so far. And I think they're really finally poised. I think, as I said earlier on, I don't think you have to go gung-ho trying to chase a match, because it's not as if you're taking it back to Molyneux or things. It's just about working your way into the game. And I think when you've got Traore and Jimenez, you've got a great chance of scoring goals. You know what I mean? And I think it's perfectly poised as well for a counter-attacking style. And when you've got a Traore's pace, and then you get out down the full-back sides, I think it's going to be fascinating, because they're going to have to try and use the wing-backs as well to their advantage. And when one's bombing forward, the other one's going to have to kind of cut round as well, so that they don't go gung-ho. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think they've got a great opportunity. And when you look at the prospect of going and playing Man United in a semi-final, doesn't get any better.
Alex, you know when you've got like Jimenez up top and how clinical he is, and he's shown that at all levels he can score goals. It's all about just giving him the service. You give him the right service, and he'll put the ball in the back of the net, won't he?
Yeah, no, well, listen, you're actually talking about a guy that's at the top of his game. His value has probably doubled since he came to Wolves. And I actually quite like what he's actually thrown out there recently as well. He's no hurry to go anywhere, because you know what it's like as a player. See, if you're happy somewhere, you're happy to just go about your business. And he seems to me as if he's settled. He's just had a newborn baby. And as you say, if you get balls into that box, that big guy tracking that back post, because I think most people know that that's exactly what he's going to be. Just stand. I used to play with Niall Quinn. He's just hit that back post, and the big chap will end up kind of attacking everything. And I love him because he's got a variation of goals as well. Great technique.
Well, boys, before we get into the ins and outs for Wolves, let's get a view on Sevilla. We can speak to renowned Spanish football expert Graham Hunter will be joining us on this extra special Matchday Live Extra very shortly. Graham, I think he can hear us in just a second. Graham, great to have you with us. We heard from one of your colleagues on our Wolves channels yesterday, Guillaume Balaguer, who kind of makes Sevilla heavy favourites. Do you agree with that? Don't think we can quite hear Graham just at the moment. We will try and get to him in just a second. In the meantime, let's talk about the team news, boys. In fact, okay, I think we have got Graham Hunter, who is just getting his camera sorted. It's just sideways for a second, but I think he can hear us now. Graham, your colleague, Guillaume Balaguer, spoke to our website yesterday, said that Sevilla are massive favourites for this one. Do you agree?
Are you trying to start a fight between me and Guillaume? Let me be careful. If you hadn't told me who'd said that, I'd have said that's complete nonsense. So, sorry, Guillaume. I understand why Sevilla have got a strong case. They're really well coached. They're very athletic. They have 2 or 3 special footballers. But I've watched a lot of Wolves this season, and I understand the threat that your team carries. So, in my opinion, and more importantly, let's forget Guillaume, let's forget Graham, let's talk about Monchi. You all know how clever the sports director at Sevilla is. He's been speaking today, immediately before the game, and saying that his respect for Wolves is such that he thinks if his team drops their guard, is complacent in any way, at any stage in the game, not just coming into it, then they'll be beaten. And those aren't just sort of toffee caramel words to please Wolves fans. Monchi knows exactly how close in terms of ability, athleticism, and football ideas Wolves are to Sevilla. They're not interchangeable, but they're extremely close. So we're going to see a clash of 2 sides who are set up with the same idea. Different formation, but wanting the ball, wanting to win the ball back high, wanting to use it quickly when they've got it. That means that for the neutral, I think it's going to be hugely entertaining. But I just basically think that anybody who's watched enough of the Premier League this season needs to have a level of respect for Wolves that might say, Sevilla have got a winning record in this tournament, but a coach who's never won a club trophy. Sevilla have changed at the very last minute their centre forward. So Luke de Jong, the Dutchman, who wasn't scoring many goals, has been replaced by Zeri, who did get a goal against Roma, but is very raw indeed. My honest opinion, and I'm not selling you smoke here, is this is an extremely difficult game to call.
Graham, can we get you just to turn your camera just to the side? We've got you sideways. There you go.
I was doing it landscape as asked, so I'm pushing all blame aside. Thank you very much.
Listen, I blame our producer all the time. It's fine. Sevilla at the moment, I guess, kind of in Julian Lopetegui, of course, who in a different world could well have been the Wolves manager a couple of years ago before getting the Spain job. I read a piece where they're kind of suggesting that he's been trying to change the way that they play, and that they are quite interchangeable. They have different options that they can go to in a game.
He's made them play the Lopetegui way, and if that's a little bit different from recent seasons, then fine. They're certainly not the same as they were under Emery when they won those 3 straight Europa Leagues. Lopetegui is easily comparable with Nuno. I understand that one of Nuno's great abilities is to coach players individually and make them better, but he wants a team to play high up the pitch, to win the ball quickly, to press. Now, these are the watchwords of a Lopetegui team. He expects his team to be brilliantly athletic, to be aggressive when they don't have the ball, and when they do have the ball, to try and use it quickly and directly. Not long ball, not by any stretch of the imagination. When you've got Jordan on one side of the midfield and Vanega on the other, they'll use the ball intelligently. But what they've got, I think, is a hard-running wing-back ideal, unlike your wing-backs where Ruben and Matt will be playing as 2 outside of 3. Sevilla play almost with a wing-back formation, except there are only 4 at the back. The guy to look out for, although you haven't asked me that yet, is Ocampos. He is the Mustang player, the maverick, the guy who's had his best ever season, who scored more goals than he scored at any other stage. And the Argentinian will test, I think he'll play on, alternate between which side he plays on. So both Ruben and Matt are going to have to watch out for this guy getting in behind them. But when you ask about change of, it'll be basically a 4-3-3, and the idea won't change. The personnel can change. So you might have argued that Luke de Jong could have started. Munir, the striker who was at Barcelona, has definitely had his best season and could easily have started in front of Suso. But one thing to be sure, change the personnel, and a Lopetegui team attempts to play in the same manner. And Wolves, irrespective of what I said about the narrow difference between the 2 sides, are facing a dangerous team that likes to have the ball and likes to turn you and make you play on the back foot.
I have to ask you, I'm looking at the stats here. They've not, I think the last defeat was the 1st of March. They've not lost a game since the restart. So they've got that mental side, the mentality side, just that winning mentality. It's just momentum, isn't it? They know what to do to go over the line. You said yourself, they are very hard running, high intensity team, but it's a one-off match tonight. They've shown in the last round against Roma that they've got the quality, they've got goals in the team. So they are favourites, aren't they?
I think you said something really important, Chris, which is that Sevilla have a mentality whereby from the top down, they believe in buying footballers who've got the right age, the right wage bracket, but the premium thing they try to buy is character. So one of the things that this football director, Monchi, has been brilliant at, I mean, literally maybe the best man in his type of work anywhere in Europe for the last 15 years, is that he generally manages to bring in footballers who've got that winning mentality that you're asking for. So it doesn't come only from Lopetegui, but Lopetegui, again I make the comparison with Nuno, is intense and very demanding, hostile, aggressive demanding on a day-to-day basis. So when you look at their unbeaten record, from March till now, because they weren't playing always unstoppable football, but every team in La Liga and then gradually in Europa found them very hard to beat. And I think that's a characteristic that makes a winning team. When you're playing well, dominate, tear into other teams, put them away as soon as you can. But if you're having an off afternoon or off night, but you can still make it so brutally hard for the other side to play against you, that's part of the champion makeup. You know that.
Spot
on. So should we be confident, Graham? Leave me with some sense that it's going to be a pretty even game at least tonight.
Okay. Oh, no. Well, I said even from the start. No, I disagree with Ian in that. I don't know why he said that, because his respect for English teams is often very, very high. Here's a point. Normally, Backslip would start. It's Bono in goals instead. Bono is a very, very good backup keeper. But I think this will maybe be his 8th European match. Backslip starting would have been an advantage. He's exceptional in my view. Koundé, the centre-half next to Diego Carlos, is very good, but again, very experienced. Loves to go on a wander. He's a Sergio Ramos style player, not in physique nor in experience, but when he gets a thought in his brain going, I'm going forward, that ball's mine. I'm going to score now. I'm going to influence the whole night. sometimes, as you all know, that thought's a good one and you can make a difference. Sometimes that thought leads you going, oh, what just happened behind me there? Koundé has got a little bit of that to learn. And, honestly, I think Joan Jordan, who's playing in midfield, nice set play, tidy enough footballer. I don't think he's exceptional. I don't think Jordan would get in the Wolves team, for example. So do I believe, and did I tip Sevilla to win this tournament? Yeah. Do I believe they can go through tonight? Yes. I genuinely think that this is a huge test for Sevilla. I wouldn't like, if you just ask me straight off, call a winner, I'd find it hard. But I do think, in my opinion, dropping De Jong, who's ultra slow and who Wolves would have gobbled up, I think has been a good idea. En-Nesyri is young and raw, but dangerous, and the right player to play against Wolves. So for the neutrals, sit back and good luck, Wolves. Yeah, but for the neutrals, sit back and enjoy a game of hotly contested Europa League football.
That'll do for me. Graham, really appreciate your contributions. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Graham.
Enjoy. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Graham Hunter, renowned Spanish football expert, joining us on Matchday Live Extra. Alex Rae, has that made you feel any better? I mean, you've obviously seen a lot of Europa League football this year. You get to this stage of the competition, you know you're going to be up against a good team no matter what.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Spanish table as well, Mikey, they were joint with Atletico. They only lost out in goal difference. So you're actually talking about one of the elite Spanish clubs, and they're playing at a good level every week. I think Chris touched on and Graham there when they were talking about being undefeated for, I think it's 1 defeat in 20 games. The one thing that stood out within all that is I think there's something like 9 or 10 draws. So it's not as if they're actually running over the toppy teams. But one thing they do is they don't lose a lot. So that would suggest to me that, it's going to be difficult tonight for Wolves. However, it's a cup final, isn't it? You're going to go out there, you're going to assess it. It's not as if you're actually chasing the game. You can assess it. You can work your way into the game. So I think there's lots of positives for Wolves to do. They don't have to go gung-ho. I think the experience of some of the players like Moutinho will be crucial because he'll be talking to all the guys around about. He's been a steady campaigner throughout his whole career at Champions League and Europa League. So these guys are going to be crucial. And I think the experience I've gained over the last, whatever it is, how many games I've played, 15 or 16 games this year, will most certainly have done them the world of good.
Situation, Tom, though, he's obviously gone back to a more stable midfield, but the top two, Pedent's being suspended for this game. He's gone with Traore up top with Jimenez. Now, that didn't work when they tried it against Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. We hope it works tonight, but do they have to try something a bit different in the way the two of them try and link up? Looms is shaking his head, but Tomo, what do you think before Looms jumps in?
I don't think they've got to try anything different. To say, look, we know what his strengths are. We know the way that the Traore plays, and we just got to make sure that we play that way. We've got to give him the right supply. Got to keep feeding him and Jimenez up front. But I just think it's been important the way that they've gone about it with the midfield. I think that it's going to release the two fullbacks. Vinegra, who's I think he's probably a little bit better than Johnny going forward. He's going to be a big loss to the team, Johnny, defensively. But Vinegra, we know about him, the pace that he's got and the way that he attacks teams as well. So putting that extra midfield player in there, I think possibly will help those two wing backs as well to get up to support the two strikers. But I just think it's all about service. I think it's all about the delivery, what they've got to try and give Traore. We've seen it hasn't worked as such as you said there, but I'm sure that Nuno's worked on it all week on what he needs to be doing, where he needs to be going, how he can affect the game and how he can push Sevilla back. And that's going to be important tonight because, again, as Graham was just touching on there, they're a very good side, but they're beatable. And that's the faith that this team will have, that they believe that they can beat them. And Nuno, the way that he picks the teams and the way that he selects the formation, he thinks this is the best way that he can get a victory out tonight's game.
Okay, mate. Looms, before you jump in on that point, let's bring another guest in to get another view. And it's someone who has been involved in this kind of situation before for Wolves, right up there in the top 10 of appearance makers. I think actually number 2 in the all-time Wolves appearance lists. The legendary Kenny Hibbitt is going to join us very shortly. We're going to try and get Kenny Hibbitt on in just a second, and hopefully we can hear from him and get his thoughts. But as we wait for him, Go on then, Looms, because I know you're itching to talk about Adama Traore.
No, I'm not. I totally agree with what Tom was saying. It's about believing in how we got here, believing the way that we go out and play. And I just think something that Nuno and the team, they do very well. They evolve, they solve problems. They know how to tackle the ongoing issues that every match throws at you, no matter who the opposition is. So just believe in the quality that you've got, believe in the messages that managers thrown to you, and the players have shown time and time again that they're up for that challenge. Yeah, tonight Sevilla is a very good side, but as both Tomo and Alex have alluded to, they've drawn a lot of those matches as well. So on another day, if we've got the quality in and we do things right, then we can really put them to the sword. I'm just hoping that it clicks. We've got a little bit of kind of solidity in the midfield. We've got pace in the team, but we need to make sure that in that transition, when we get the ball down, we play our game. We're not just that turnover of ball, giving the ball back to Sevilla, unforced errors. It's about being brave enough to go on the ball, and that's something that I have to say. We started well against Olympiacos. When they started coming into the match, they grew into it 25 minutes into the match. It was basically just us very, very deep. A back five it turned into. Our full backs weren't bombing forward because we had a lead to protect, but we've got to be brave enough to make those decisions that we can get forward and do the right things. So if we allow Sevilla to get on the ball tonight, we're in for a very difficult night. So it's about believing in the quality that we've got. We've got good footballers in there. Technical players that can see a pass, execute a pass. We've got players in there that can score goals, turn a game on its head when we don't deserve anything. So we just got to know the quality that we have and believe in the quality that we've got. We're up against a good side, but you know what? We're a goddamn good side as well.
Alex, you were out in Germany last week.
Yes.
You know how kind of stiflingly hot it's been. It's muggy as well here tonight.
Yeah.
How much will that be a factor? And I guess in the way, for Wolves,
Alex,
they'll sit, won't they? And they'll soak up pressure. Is there a chance that they can try and tire Sevilla out?
I think one of the key things for me last week, watching the game, is it went in spells. You conceded possession to the opposition, dropped off and became compact. Then it became bursts because it was very difficult to go time after time just charging about like madmen. So I think it's a case of being organised, being structured, and then getting a little burst when it's on to do so. But I think one of the key things that Tomo touched on there as well in terms of the fullbacks getting forward and obviously the two strikers, the one thing for me is I think the one midfielder who can go and support the front guys is Dendoncker because he's got that physicality, but you have the protection of the two ball players in the middle of the park. So I think there's a lot of kind of facets for there, but I think Dendoncker's the one that can actually go and get in the box.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? That, we often talk about how reliant, Tomo, we have been on Raul Jimenez. Somebody else has to step up to the mark tonight and help out.
Yeah, they do. So look, he's had an unbelievable couple of years, hasn't he? But we've got to start scoring goals on more areas, especially the midfield. I think they've got to contribute a little bit more. Doughty's got 7 goals, but as Alex touched on there, Dendoncker seems to be the one who can get up and link up with those two lads up front, and Moutinho just in there with Neves. So again, it's going to be important that we do get support up there. Can't just leave the two lads up there isolated. We've got to try and get support to them as quick as possible, because at the end of the day, they can't just do it on their own.
You might be able to see we've finally got it sorted to be able to speak to the legend that is Kenny Hibbitt. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, I'm sweltering here in the heat of Germany. I tell you, I'm going to be 2 stone lighter by the time I get back from this trip, Kenny. This must be kind of bringing back some great memories of the European trips that you had.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to see, Wolves back where they really belong. It's taken a while to get here, but over the last 2 years, Nuno come in and the new owners, Thompson's come in, they've completely changed things around. And, the manager and all the staff, they've done a terrific job. And where we're at the moment is somewhere that a lot of people never thought we'd be 3 years ago.
I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? We're back to a level that I spoke to John Richards, your old mucker, yesterday, and he was kind of talking, we just haven't been here for the best part of 4 or 5 decades. It's taken this long to get back to the levels that you were at with Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you look back to the mid-80s, we were in the 4th division at the time, and the managers that came in and the players that came in picked the club up off the floor. We were quite close to going under, and they did a terrific job. And they got us back into the 3rd and into the 2nd division. And they made the club, they changed the club around, the fortunes around at that period. And I thought they did a fantastic job in that time. We'd been in and out of the Premier League, but this time we've really made a statement. And I think that the effort and the work that everybody's put in at the club, from the manager right down to the youth coach and furthermore, I think they've brought the club right to the front again. And now, people around the world are looking at us now. They're not just Europe. It's coming all around the world, and we're a force. And when I see somebody or listen to somebody like Van Persie wanting Wolves to win this tournament, whether he's got sour grapes against Manchester United or not, but he's now picked up on Wolves, and there's a lot of managers now. When they play Wolves, they have a problem because Wolves are a fantastic team. They're full of endeavour. They're full of pace. The organisation, the team spirit is exactly what we had in the 70s. The team spirit, and the guys that you've been talking to tonight, they'll know all about that. The camaraderie, and you have to have that to be successful. And that's what Nuno, I think, believes in. Yeah.
Kenny, what comes with that? Extra pressure comes with that as well, doesn't it?
Oh, of course. I mean, well, it depends how you want to look at pressure. I think that I don't think they seem to be under that much pressure now than as they used to be, maybe. But I don't know. It's their job. I mean, when I was a player, I never felt under pressure. I felt, and I know what the lads felt, they had to perform every Saturday, and that's what we got paid for. I don't think there was any pressure playing football. You went out there and play 90 minutes and you give your best. And I think that what I see now is, and I've enjoyed over the last 2 years watching Wolves, is that every player that goes out there gives 100%, and that's why we're successful. And they all help each other. I'm not a great believer in all this, pressure here and pressure there. I think you get tense. I got very nervous before I went out on the pitch, but as soon as you walk onto it, you forgot that and you got on with your job. But I think watching them now, it's one of the best sides I think I've ever seen down the Molyneux. And whatever happens tonight, they've had 2 terrific seasons, and we can look forward to a really bright future.
Kenny, brilliant to have you with us. Just before I let you go, a little quick prediction.
Yeah.
What's your gut saying?
I am not the best predictor. A lot of fans have been giving me some
We all have that trouble, Kenny. We all have that trouble.
I don't. My heart, and I know what all of the boys are doing. We want to win the game, and this is one of the toughest games they'll have this season, without a shadow of a doubt. They are a very strong side, Seville. They've got some great players. They're unbeaten in 18 matches. They know what it's all about, and so it's a matter of us adapting to what we're good at and doing the right things. And hopefully we can create and score the chances that we create, put them in the back of the net, and come out with a win. But I'm not going to give a prediction. I've got everything crossed for them, and like Olympiacos, I had my phone on. There were 20,000 listening in. There were 30,000 listening in. As the game got on, it ended up over 60,000 people was looking at the score and looking at the result, and that is what Wolverhampton Wanderers is about. We've got fantastic support, and they'll all be doing that again tonight. And let's hope that we come out on top, and then we turn United over.
Kenny, brilliant to have you with us. Thank you very much for your time. Look after yourself.
I will do, and have a good night, guys.
Yeah, take care.
Take care, mate.
Thank you, Kenny. Kenny Hibbert, a legend.
Yeah.
1972 team, especially, that got all the way through to the final. We talk about the potential to become immortal. That's the what is on offer for this team right now. Let's talk to another former Wolves player who I guess, would have traded so much to have been in this situation. Because this is the thing, really, isn't it? You know, you look back on your career, and I spoke to Matt Murray on our preview show, and I asked him the question of would he trade that night in Cardiff, that day in Cardiff, to be involved in this. Kevin Doyle, brilliant to have you with us on Matchday Live Extra. You've been involved in some special occasions as well, and some real difficult ones too. I wonder what you would trade in your career to be involved in this Europa League quarter-final.
Yeah, you got me on that one. I don't know. I'm pretty content. You'd love to play, and it's a massive game, obviously, and one of the biggest for Wolves for a long, long time. But every game you go to now, and especially when I'm retired and you watch, you'd like to get on the pitch and play, and this one would be no different.
Kev, do you think just with the size of the match that the players are like, I don't think Nuno allows them to relax and say, you know what, just enjoy the occasion. I think Nuno has a genuine belief that Wolves can go on and win it. Although he's that kind of mindset, it's one match at a time. But I think he's instilled a belief and a confidence in the players that they don't go out there and think this is a free hit. Let's go out and express ourselves. There's a lot of pressure that they've got to be up to tonight, isn't there?
Yeah, you look at him on the touchline, he never doesn't take a break. But not in a way you'd like to, sort of like a Jurgen Klopp, you want to play for him. He's constantly urging them on, constantly on top of them. He looks like he doesn't take any any slacking off, anyone not at it. And you see that the way Wolves play. They're constantly 100%, 100 miles an hour by playing good football. While they're at it, again, go back to that comparison with Klopp, another manager you'd love to play for. He looks like a manager. Looms, me and you would have done a lot of running for him up front. We would have worked hard.
Hang on.
Kev, you would have
a lot of running.
Well, I would have anyway.
Yeah.
It is though, isn't it? You look at this kind of team, and I was speaking to you, Doyle, when we were doing a little kind of thing for our old Gold Club spin-off series, My Golden Game, which has actually gone out today, by the way, where we were talking a little bit about Raul Jimenez, because it's the effort and work rate that he gets through. And we always talk about how important he is. I was chatting to him yesterday for something that's going to come out in the next coming weeks. And he kind of is so humble. And that's the thing that strikes me the most about him. And I guess about a lot of this team. Do you feel that? Can you see that from the outside, Doyle?
Yeah, watching him play, he works hard. Most top players work really hard, but he's got quality as well, and that's why he's so good. He scores goals, he works really hard, and he's perfect for the Wolves team and the way they play. And every play, you go through the whole team, though, it's the same with all of them. It's why they're there. They're young and hungry. I suppose that's the thing. The one, worry as you go forward in the next couple of years, whether some of them have done that well and they look to move and all that's another story, obviously. But if they do too well, they mightn't be at Wolves. So, but at the moment, I love watching him play. I like watching the whole team play, but I like watching him play. I like how, he doesn't care who he bumps into, who he hurts, where he runs. He just wants to run around, cause a nuisance for himself, but has lots of quality at the end of it as well. That's sort of, you could say that about a lot of the Wolves team.
Because, Tomo, that's the thing, isn't it? You could say that about so many of them. No matter what happens tonight, I don't think there will ever be anything levelled at them that they didn't give their all for the cause this evening.
I think that's one thing that you can't criticise this team about when Nuno's in charge is the work ethic and the way that they play. You're looking at Jimenez a lot of the times chasing back in the full-back positions to help his team out. We want him further on up the pitch. We want him to score more goals for us, even though he's done really well over the last couple of years. But that just shows you the way that this team plays, and they work so hard for each other. If somebody's pulled out of position, you've got people in there to cover for them. And that's expected. You watch it, the way that the Wolves supporters watch this team, and that's one thing that they love about the way that Nuno's come in, that this team works hard, but they've got great ability with it as well, the way that they play, the way that they keep the ball, the goals that they score. But that's one thing that, and then the lads will say this as well, that's one thing that you'll expect of any player that plays, that you give 100% whenever you're playing. And I'm sure they'll all agree with that, and the ability what goes along with it. And that's why I think that they've got a good chance tonight. I think that the effort what they'll put into this game, it's a one-off game. They're cup finalists, you say already. And it's just making sure that they get themselves on board with everything that's going on and making sure that they don't leave themselves open. But I can't see doing that with the way that they're going to set up tonight.
and Alex Rae, leave nothing out there. This could be
No.
the final game of the season, so don't save anything in the tank. Give it your all.
No. Yeah, no, I think that goes without saying, Mikey. I agree with what the boys are saying in terms of, there's a humility about this team. There's no kind of superstars in it, and I think that comes from the manager. Some of the guys, you see him a lot more than I do. However, when I see him, he seems to have that kind of control. He's kind of controlled aggression. You look at him at times and you think, well, he's daunting. And I quite like that because he gets the best out of the team. And as you said about leaving anything out there, if you leave anything behind, I don't even think this squad have got that in their makeup, because they always perform at a level. They always give their all. Some days, if you take the last game of the season against Chelsea, it didn't quite work for them, but it wasn't through lack of effort. It was just a couple of, firstly, a bad refereeing decision, and then obviously a sucker punch. But in terms of their overall kind of team work ethic, it's excellent.
Very quickly then, prediction time. Kevin Doyle, what does your gut tell you tonight?
I think it's going to be very, very close. Yeah, you know what? Wolves at home, you just have to think Wolves just to pip it. I go 1-0, close game, 1-0 win.
Looms?
Yeah, I think 1-1, extra time, and then, penalties, bring it on.
Never mind penalties. Who wins?
Wolves, of course.
Oh my God. We're getting a replay next week.
Wolves win always. Come on, Alex. You know that.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm only joking. Big 2-1 for me, Mikey. I can't just see a 1-0. There's too much quality in show. 2-1. Wolves.
Yeah, agreeing with Alex. I'm going 2-1.
Stop it, Tomo.
Sorry, mate. You keep going before me and stealing it. So what's going on?
Fair enough.
What about you, Mikey?
Well, I have always, over the last couple of weeks, stuck to 1-0, and it worked out for me big time last Thursday night. So I am not changing for this night, but any which way they get through. I mean, I'm not sure my heart could take penalties if it went that far. I think Looms is some kind of sadist wanting me to pass out on Wolves TV for this. Kevin Doyle, thank you very much for joining us. Great to have you giving your insight. Hopefully it's going to go well. Thank you, Kevin Doyle. More from Alex Rae,
Take care, Kev.
Iwelumo, Andy Thompson to come. This is Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra. It's the Europa League quarter-final, and the match is coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
So we are counting down the seconds until the teams come out here at the MSV Arena. What an occasion this is hopefully going to be. And I know so many of you would have wanted to be here, would have given absolutely everything to have made this journey if you could have done. And I'm so sorry that you can't, but I will do my very best to bring you all the sounds and the most passionate commentary that I possibly can ahead of this occasion here tonight. I think some of the Wolves subs are just making their way up the steps, so we are not far off. This is a night that some of us, many of us, pretty much all of us, have dreamt of for so long. It has finally arrived For many of us, the first time in our lifetime, seeing that the club that we love at this stage of a continental competition. Wolves' first continental quarter-final for 48 years. The footballing fairy tale that's seen this famous club rise from the depth of double relegations to a place amongst Europe's elite in just 7 seasons. From Stevenage to Sevilla, oh, how things have changed. Out of darkness cometh light. The Spanish side of incredible pedigree in this competition, 3 times Europa League winners. No one has won more games since the change from the old UEFA Cup. 4th in La Liga. They've only lost 1 of their last 6 against English teams. Well, Nuno having to bring a couple of changes, one of which enforced with Daniel Pedence's suspension, another enforced injury. We are sad to say that we may not see Johnny for quite some time in this Wolves starting lineup. Ruben Vinagre comes in to replace him in the left wing back position. Leander Dendoncker is into the midfield. Adama Traore starts up top with Raul Jimenez. It's Rui Patricio in goal. Willy Bolly, Connor Cody, Romain Saiz the back 3. Matt Doherty, Ruben Vinagre the wing backs. Leander Dendoncker, Ruben Neves and João Moutinho in midfield. Adama Traore and Raul Jimenez up top for Wolves. On the bench, Ruddy, Sondergaard, Jordao, Neto, Gibbs-White, Jota, Campana, Kilman, Burr, Marquez and Richards. For Sevilla, it's the same team that knocked out Roma in this stadium a couple of nights ago. Yassine Bono in goal, Jesus Navas, Jules Koundé, Diego Carlos and Sergei Reguilon, Ever Banega, Fernando, the former Man City man, and Joan Jordan in midfield. Suso, formerly of Liverpool, Yusuf En-Naziri and Lucas Ocampos. Their attacking 3 up top. And on their substitutes bench, Thomas Vaklik, Diaz Sanchez, Sergi Gomez, Munir, Sergio Escudero, Luke de Jong, who had a spell at Newcastle, Oliver Torres, Franco Vasquez, Jose Mena, Jose Alonso, Gennaro and Pablo Perez. Tomo should still be able to hear me. Sat watching at home. How are your nerves, my friend?
Not too bad. So look, we know it's going to be a difficult game. We knew that coming into it. But I just think that the quality that we've got, the experience that we've got, especially with Moutinho in that midfield area, and just the pace and power that we've got up front, I think that we might just be able to do it. We've just got to make sure we try and keep Seville at bay for the first bit.
Well, we are going to get underway in just 1 second. All the players taking a knee. It's an important message that we keep saying, and we'll keep doing it until the message gets through. Loud and clear. Adama Traore is stood over the ball. Wolves in gold shirts, black shorts and black socks, playing from left to right as I look at it in the first half. The TV cameras are actually a couple of rows up behind me, so you should be able to hear them loud and clear. You might be able to hear me over the top of the TV, who knows, as the TV commentators are on the row in front of me. And immediately, Traore trying to go down the right, just blocked off a little. Sevilla in white shirts, white shorts and red socks. Here's Ruben Neves for Wolves, trying to find Matt Doherty, just closed down by Reguilon, who was a goal scorer against Roma. Here comes Traore down the right-hand side for Wolves, trying to get himself into some space towards the byline, whips a dangerous cross in. Jimenez's header straight down the throat of the goalkeeper. Quick throw out from Yassine Bono. And Wolves immediately with an early opportunity right at the start of this game. And it wasn't a bad one at all, Tomo.
No, so look, again, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do already. They're on the front foot, Wolves, so it'd be good to see if they can get anything out of this early on in the game.
Sevilla in possession right now. We imagine they are going to have plenty of it. Reguilon back in field. This is Efe Banega, the Argentine, trying to switch the play. Out to the right-hand side. The Sevilla captain is Jesus Navas, formerly of Manchester City, of course. He was a flying winger in his Man City days. A little bit older now, converted to a full-back, but he has the potential to still get forwards. And We know the quality that he can perhaps put into the penalty area. So Ruben Vinagre will have his work cut out. Surely an offside flag has got to go up against Endaziri, who's into the penalty area, puts it behind, and eventually the offside flag does go up against him. And he missed his opportunity anyway. Important that Wolves keep switched on all the way through this, Tomo. Cannot afford for just a single moment to switch off at any point.
No, they can't. So, look, and we know that already from the game. They've got to be switched on about everything. They've got to be tight. They've got to make sure that they keep Seville quiet. But we know the threat that they've got. So, but also as well, we've got to be careful that we don't just sit back. We've got quality in our team as well, and we can push forward and get chances against Sevilla.
Here are Sevilla in possession. Out to Jesus Navas on the right-hand side. Suso has come short. Martinho closing him down. Ball goes backwards. Two centre-halves playing it around at the minute. They will try and work it forwards. Now, Ruben Neves trying to get in there and win it in midway inside the Sevilla half, and he wins a free kick. He drew the foul from Joan Jordan. And maybe a set-piece opportunity. Dendoncker offers a little bit more added height. Bolly and Saiz will come forwards for it as well, Tomo.
Yeah, so look, again, opportunities. So look, we know the quality that Neves has got on his delivery. So we just hope they can get that either on target or get one of our players released on it.
Sevilla are trying to keep quite a high line just outside their penalty area. It will be Dendoncker, Bolly, Saiz and Jimenez to try and run in. Doty from the far side. Martinho to lift the ball in. Dendoncker got a touch and it loops and just hits the roof of the netting over the top of the crossbar. Not a bad effort at all, really. Just maybe couldn't quite get the sweet connection that he wanted to then, Tomo.
Yeah, felt like he just wanted a bit more contact, didn't he? He wanted a little bit more on it. But again, it just shows you that Wolves are growing in confidence early on in this game.
See, Joan Jordan now played out to the right-hand side. Sevilla trying to bring the ball forwards. Ball lifted high out towards the Sevilla left. Reguilon trying to chest it down. Doherty read it, poked the ball in midfield. Jordan back out to Reguilon on the left-hand side. Closed down by Bolly. Ball goes backwards to Banega. Exchanges passes with Jordan. Fernando finding Suso. Now Koundé trying to take on Raúl Jimenez, but Vinagre will intercept his pass down the line for Jesus Navas, and Jimenez has kept the ball and he's done really well to step in field, but it needed an important challenge by Fernando, who at the base of the midfield just dropped in and made sure that Jimenez couldn't quite poke it through. This is Ever Banega trying to switch the play again out to the right-hand side for Sevilla. Here we come again. Fernando in possession for Sevilla. Out to the left-hand side for Reguilon. He's got support from Lucas Ocampos, who will take it forwards. Ocampos trying to twist and turn, puts it through the legs of Doherty. Then Donker back there, and Doherty got a toe to the ball. Bolly completes the clearance. Now Traore on the turn, trying to get away from Fernando. 3 Sevilla defenders to 2 Wolves attackers, and Jimenez slips at the key moment as he tried to make his breakthrough. Unfortunate for him. Wolves didn't quite have the numbers that are going to benefit them, but maybe if Jimenez could have kept control of it. We know how quick Traore is to try and make that run on the outside. Just a fortune not quite with Wolves on that occasion as Martinho blocks off, and he'll go out of play for a throw on the halfway line. Tomo, what are you making of the opening period?
I think the Wolves are looking confident. So like the Wolves are realising that they can get at Sevilla, and that will cause them problems. And it's just that belief, just knowing that they can get at Sevilla and cause them an upset by pushing them back. You've already saw Traore having a couple of goes at running at them. Unfortunately, that slipped on Jimenez as well. So it just shows you that they believe that they can cause a problem for Sevilla, and they'll be aware of that.
Wolves just got a little bit of a problem here. Willy Bolly is down at the minute and getting a little bit of treatment, and that would be a real concern. We are just under 7 minutes officially into this game. Taking a knee, he paused for a lot longer afterwards than anticipated. So officially, we are only 7 minutes into it. There's quite a few players gathering around and taking on some fluids. It's been difficult for the players the last couple of days, confined to the hotel that we've been in Dusseldorf, which is about 20, 25 minutes drive from here in Duisburg. It's been very, very hot, and even really hot inside the hotel. The players have had pretty much a floor to themselves that they've been able to mill around in. There was a big room there with a table tennis table, pool table, and all sorts of things to try and keep them amused. And most of the players on a higher floor than from where we were, which was probably a good thing, but kind of kept away from everybody, not allowed to go sightseeing, not allowed to even go out for a walk in the morning, just confined to our bio bubble. The testing process as well. We've even been tested since we've been here in Germany. Everybody all clear as far as Wolves are concerned. And we hope it very much stays that way, and hope it stays that way for all of you who are tuned into us as well. Here's Reguilón and Sevilla get back underway. High cross that's going to go all the way out of play for a Wolves goal kick. A big hello to Ben Roddis, who is listening at home in Christchurch, New Zealand. Come on, me babbies, feeling very nervous, says he. Gary Smith is watching from Tabuk. Says, let's all enjoy watching the game, whatever the result. What a game we have tonight, in his opinion. The biggest since Spurs in 72, and he remembers his father taking him to that game. It's been an immense effort to get to the quarterfinals, says Gary, and he's proud of what we've achieved this season. Rob in sunny Calgary, hoping we get Wolves-coloured sunshine in Duisburg. Christina's gone for a Wolves win, thinks it'll be close. Lucky scarf is on, says Christina. Thompson. Here comes Suso down the right-hand side for Sevilla, trying to twist and turn up against Vinagre. He's done well to hold him off. Navas trying to turn away from Matinho, cross in. Cody stretched out, and he and Bolly almost fighting with each other to get to the loose ball. He got there first and found Traore. He's still inside his own half, back to Bolly. Now with Cody. Cody trying to set the ball forwards, just a little bit too much infield for Ruben Vinagre. Alex Rae, watching at home, what have you made of the opening 8 minutes or so?
I think you have to say that Wolves have started relatively well. You know, they've been relatively comfortable. They haven't been troubled in any way. I think the encouraging thing was when the support from Traore breaking from the middle of the park, and unfortunately Jimenez slipped. And then I feel as if you can get joy at free kicks as well, Mikey, with Dendoncker, if you just get a better connection from the Matinho cross. So it's been a positive start, you have to say, from Wolves. So they've settled in nicely.
It's got to keep this going then.
Yeah, without doubt. You know, as I said, when they're out of possession, they just go to the 5-3-2, Mikey, and they shuffle across, and then they pounce when it's appropriate to do that. But they're so well structured, Wolves. They all know their jobs, so they're very familiar. And I think one of the key things as well is when someone does go down, is trying to get some fluids in as soon as possible, because you know better. It is absolutely stifling out there.
It certainly is. This is Ever Banega for Sevilla on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Excellent work by Leander Dendoncker to win possession back, and now Traore trying to turn and spin away from two players, and he's on a brilliant charge here. Traore, he might go all the way into the penalty area. Ball down, has to be a penalty. Oh, goodness me, this is a big decision. It's a yellow card given. Adama Traore, what a run from him. Absolutely stunning. Seeing the pace, the power, the tenacity, everything that Adama Traore represents in this team. And he has won Wolves a spot kick and a massive opportunity to get ahead in the game. What a piece of play that was. Adama Traore is down. He may need a little bit of treatment. They had to hack him down effectively to stop him going all the way through. But superb work from him. Tomo, that was stunning from Traore.
Yeah, it was. A lot to the way that he's just carried the ball. And that's what he does for the team. He pulls the team up front, gets them going. and again showed the pace. And I'm just watching the replay here. Yeah, it's clear penalty, no contact at all from the defender. He's just frightening. He's just frightening with his pace. And again, so look, it's the man Jimenez who will be taking it, and hopefully.
Yeah, Raul Jimenez, 8 from 8 in his Wolves career. Can he make it 9 from 9? He scored from the spot against Olympiacos in the last 16. Here he is to possibly give Wolves the lead in the quarter-final in the MSV Arena in Duisburg. Raul Jimenez, couple of steps to his left, couple of short shuffles, steps up right-footed. No, it's saved! And he can't get the follow-up. Matinho tries to strike it and puts it high and wide. Goodness me, Raul Jimenez, normally so deadly and ice cold from the penalty spot. The battle was won by Yassine Bono this time. And what a horrible time for Raul Jimenez to miss his first spot kick in a Wolves shirt. Tomo, what do you think?
Yeah, well, when we spoke to him the other week, when he spoke about watching the keeper, maybe it was a little bit of nerves in that situation, and he's delayed it a little bit. He didn't really look at the keeper and say he's gone against everything that he's done normally. But look, he's just got to get on with the game. Just got to put it to the back of his mind now.
Now that's trying to break forwards at the other end. The ball will come through to Reguilon. We'll get Alex Rae's thoughts on it in just a minute. This is Joan Jordan now trying to pick out Suso. Sevilla trying to strike back at the other end, and he hits from distance, and it's drawn a very good save by Rui Patricio. Low down to his left-hand side to parry the ball away. Cleared further by Saiz, and he'll go out of play for a Sevilla throw. Alex Rae, your thoughts on all of that? I think you think there should have been a red there.
Yeah, without doubt, because he's just bearing down in goal. If that's not a goal-scoring opportunity, and you're not telling me he's made no contact whatsoever. So for me, it's a red card. I think it's an easy call for the referee to make in terms of the laws of the game. And I think he's bottled it. And, I think Jimenez will be a bit disappointed with the actual execution. But again, we just touched on it a couple of minutes ago in terms of Traore busting from that number 10 position. They cannot cope with him. So if they can get him on the half turn, driving at this Seville back line, then I'm sure we can get lots of joy.
Cody,
Alex, do you think that VAR should have ruled it out with a red card?
He hadn't, and Sevilla will be able to pick up the ball inside their own half. We'll go to Chris Iwelumo in just a moment as Sevilla have a little bit of possession here. Wolves missing a golden opportunity to go in front on this quarter-final night in Duisburg. They have to hope that more chances will come. It wasn't to be for Raul Jimenez. He has to put that out of his mind, Chris Iwelumo, and just get on with things and trust in himself to make amends for it.
No, exactly that. He'll be disappointed. He's usually just so clinical from that position, but he just has to get on with it. Again, there will be other opportunities. They had a great header from the early Traore cross right at the start of the match. Obviously, the penalty kick. Again, it's a disappointing thing, but it's part and parcel of football. I think what Alex has already alluded to is that you've got to use the power of Traore, the way that he's so powerful in his running. He's hard to deal with. He created that chance, and to be fair, we used it well. Doherty came in, and it was a great little kind of interception, and we played out from that area. And it's making the right decision in those moments. But again, just very, very disappointing. All the players will be, but we've just got to kind of keep doing what we're doing.
There comes Suso for Sevilla on the left-hand side. Plays the ball in field. Fernando steps over it. Will come through to Reguilon on the left. He has support from Eva Banega. Trying to lift the ball forwards to Lucas Ocampos. Trying to hold off Dendoncker. Fired the ball into him. It rebounds towards the halfway line. Andy Thompson, Alex Rae and Chris Iwelumo with me tonight, all watching from home. Of course, there is a slight delay in the pictures that you're all seeing compared to what I can see out here. We are doing our very best, obviously, with the restrictions. Would have loved all the guys to have been out here with us. Fortunately, it's just me. And we are trying to bring you the best coverage that we possibly can. As Eva Banega has possession. A little short ball in towards Ocampos. Bolly at his back. Ball is going to go out of play for a Wolves throw. Just got to keep going here, Tomo. they're in the game very much so, and if they can keep getting the ball to Traore and let him run, it's a clear way of getting at Sevilla at the minute.
Well, they've showed that they can cause Sevilla a threat. So look, and the thing is, though, you've got to keep giving the ball. We said that at the beginning of the show, where we said it's all about the way that you keep giving the ball, supplying the ball, and they've done that earlier on, and it's caused them problems. And that's what they've just got to keep doing: give him the ball.
Sevilla getting a free kick just inside the Wolves half here. Good 10 yards in from the left-hand touchline or so. It's not quite as easy for us to see the touchline down in front of us. It's the steepest of stands, right at the back of the press area here at the MSV Arena. Eva Banega, Lucas Ocampos stood over the ball. Wolves trying to keep their defensive line level with the edge of the D. The ball will be played infield to Jordan. Out to Jesus Navas on the right-hand side, sets himself to cross from deep. A little bit too deep. Traore nodding the ball down, and Martinho to Jimenez, to Traore, Martinho to Traore. Good football from Wolves. Traore then using his pace, and he's taken out of the game by Eva Banega again. And surely at some point the referee is going to have to step in and have a few words here. We already heard from Alex Rae, who felt that Diego Carlos should have been sent off for his reckless challenge on Traore breaking forwards, and Banega there just left a little bit in on Traore, was very late on that. I don't know whether Alex Rae can see that yet, but that one was a little bit naughty as well, Alex.
I've got to be honest with you, Mikey. In my book, that would have been play on, but you're absolutely right. It was a wee bit late there with his trailing leg. I don't think there was any maliciousness in it. But I think this is a tactic they're going to employ on Traore. He is absolutely terrorising with his power and pace.
Well, I knew that you wouldn't class that as a foul in any day.
I agree with you, Alex. I agree with you, mate.
Tom Moody's fancy dance. I can't believe it.
We are with a throw with Jesus Navas deep inside his own half. Vinagre working hard, can't quite keep the ball in. Another throw for Sevilla deep inside their own half. David Roll listening on a mini vacation, going for a Wolves 1-0 win. Can they only beat Wolves by taking out our players, he asks. Andy Johns, come on Wolves, feeling the heat in Amsterdam, just up the road from Duisburg. You can message me, use the hashtag Wolves Live as well. Rui Patricio in possession to launch it downfield, not quite to anyone in particular. Jesus Navas bringing it down under possession, back in field to Diego Carlos, to the left-hand side to Reguilon. Back it goes again. And it will be out to the right-hand side. Sevilla keeping hold of possession. We knew that would be a case tonight. It happened plenty. All back in field to Joan Jordan. Maybe the players taking a little bit of a breather. It's tough out there. Stifling conditions. It is getting a little bit cooler. It's got dark since it got dark, especially. Floodlights shining bright, hopefully on those in gold this evening. Reguilon on the halfway line. Sevilla aren't really going anywhere. Wolves will be fairly happy with this at the minute. It's Diego Carlos again, across to Jules Koundé. Koundé trying to find the feet of Suso. Ball infield to Jordan. Managed to turn away from Dendoncker, looking to drive forwards. Feeding it out to the left-hand side to Ocampos. Ocampos trying to cut back on his right foot. Well blocked by Matt Doherty. And the ball will bounce out of play for a Sevilla throw. At Mikey Burrows, at Wolves on social media, if you want to have your say. Use the hashtag Wolves Live. Alistair sent us a picture. Tuning in. Kate says the nerves are very much in there. Come on, lads. Here is Fernando. Middle of the Wolves half for Banega. Exchanges passes with Suso. Suso again, wide for Jesus Navas, out towards the right corner flag. Crossing first time, decent one, and Nasiri heading way over the top of the crossbar though. Not troubling Rui Patricio on that occasion. Wolves got to watch those little ones. We spoke a little bit earlier about Jesus Navas. He absolutely has the quality, Chris Iwelumo, to get the ball into the penalty area Wolves just have to make sure that they can deal with anything when it comes in, I guess. Looms isn't there quite now. Get Tomo's thoughts in just a second. Jimenez nodding the ball down neatly on halfway to Neves. Here's Matinho. Back to Bolly. Finds Rui Patricio. First time from him on his weaker right foot to Romain Saiz. What a season he's had, Romain Saiz. Finding Vinagre. Turning in field. Neves. Across to Willy Bolly. Backwards to Connor Cody. A bit more control from Wolves here as Cody hits a big diagonal for Jimenez to chase. Just a little bit too straight. And it'll go all the way through to the goalkeeper. Just approaching the halfway stage of the game at the moment. Tomo, how are you feeling about it all?
We look quite comfortable, to be fair. So look, the more the match in Sevilla. So look, and also as well, we've had that penalty miss as well. And just a note on that, I know Alex said like possibly read. I've just watched the replay again as well. The keeper was absolutely miles off his line when Jimenez has actually taken the penalty. I'm surprised that VAR hasn't said something about that.
Well, I know that the Premier League were wanting to specifically task VAR to look at that next season, and by all accounts were rejected by FIFA. This is Jules Koundé for Sevilla. Wolves missing a penalty then through Raúl Jimenez. Debate over whether the yellow that Diego Carlos got should have been a red, for making no real intention to play the ball, just denying what was a clear goal-scoring opportunity, crafted all the way by Adama Traore. And here comes Banega on the right-hand side for Sevilla. Suso has it. All played down the right-hand side, again a cross in, all the way deep, Campos coming round, and what a good challenge that was by Matt Doherty. It's been given as a goal kick, but Doherty covering round, really important stuff from him. Didn't quite know where Campos was initially, but made sure he got round there and made a very, very good interception in the end. Stephen says, I want to be listening to your voice, Mikey, 1,000 times tomorrow and never get bored. Come on, you Wolves. Rich Frampton sat at home with Lisa and Wolves mates Kate and Nev praying for a semi against United. Wolves AWE. Hairbear says, I reckon a Chelsea away last season and Man City away this season. Complete discipline, breakaway goals will do the trick. And Hayden's asked if I'll be on the pitch if we win. I would if I could get down there.
You know, won't be allowed down there, will you, mate?
Team hotel tonight, don't you worry. If that can possibly happen. Get the thoughts of Chris Iwelumo in just a second of how it's gone so far as Matt Doherty forced to turn and track back again. Reguilon's dangerous cross in, and this time it's Connor Cody with an excellent sliding clearance. Wolves get the ball clear. Jimenez trying to flick it on to Traore, and Traore using his pace to get there ahead of Koundé. Now can he try and pick out Jimenez? It's a good ball. Jimenez it's going to run away from him and go out of play for a goal kick. Let's go to Chris Iwelumo as he catches up on things. What are you imagining of how it's gone so far? Wolves obviously missing that penalty. They're still very much in this. It feels fairly even from my eyes.
Yeah, you know what I think. If you're looking at Nuno, I think he'll be quite happy. You know, I think good possession of the ball, creating chances. You know, using the ball well. Very much, like you say, I've got to agree. I think it's pretty even. Obviously, disappointment with the penalty. I think the goalkeeper. I think there was talk with Tomo saying the keeper was off the line. I think his heel was just on the line, so he's done nothing in way of if VAR was to check that. I think if there's any part touching the line, then the whole body's counted as he's on the line. But again, there's been moments that we've seen quality, so I think just Nuno would be very happy.
It's very much working with Adama Traore as well, isn't it? We spoke a little bit about that pre-game.
Yeah,
playing off the Wolves at the minute.
Yeah, you know, he's when he's on it, he's
back
on
through in a second. As En-Nesyri into the penalty area and strikes it low across the face of goal, well wide in the end of Rui Patricio's left-hand post, just flicked through by Suso, and En-Nesyri rather snatched at it very quickly. Looms, I interrupted you there talking about Traore. I think he might have disappeared for a second. Let's see if we've got Chris Iwelumo back.
I'm here, Mikey.
Oh, you are there. I interrupted you talking about Adama Traore.
Yeah, you know what? He's unplayable when he's at the races, you know, and I think he's got that little bit between his teeth tonight. He's shown the quality that he's got, you know, some great little touches. He's giving goals, you know, and I think can we do it in the final third? I think that's the main thing. You know, we're seeing a lot of it in that kind of defensive area where he's going up and he's making challenges with the head, and then all of a sudden in that middle third, I want to see it in the attacking third. He's put in a couple of good crosses, and obviously with the takedown for the penalty, we just got to try and make sure that we use him a little bit more sparingly as well.
He's been Wolves' most likely threat so far. More from Chris Iwelumo, Andy Thompson, Alex Rae as we go through the game. And of course, plenty more from them at half-time as Moutinho steps in and wins it in the Sevilla half, and he's gone for an outrageous volley. It's a long way over the top of the crossbar. Well, for a man who's only scored 2 goals in his Wolves career, tonight is his 101st appearance. That would have been some finish from João Moutinho, were he able to produce something special. He's perhaps the most experienced in terms of this level of European competition. The Wolves will very much call on him and hope that he can produce when it matters most. Sevilla in possession on the halfway line. It's Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra from the MSV Arena in Duisburg in the west of Germany. Not too far from Dusseldorf and Dortmund and Cologne, which is where we hope to be next for the semi-final on Sunday night. Both sides dreaming of it. At the minute, still 0-0. Suso tries to put a high ball out to the left-hand side. Reguilon just got there. Doherty just had a little touch on him as he got his cross in. Reguilon ended up on the floor, almost in the advertising hoarding. Referee told him just to pick himself up and get on with things. Not too interested. The Italian officials, Daniele Orsato is the man in the middle. Here's Willy Bolly for Wolves. Into the feet of Dendoncker, just short of halfway. Back to Ruben Neves in that holding quarterback position. João Moutinho takes over. Just about finds Willy Bolly. Bolly out to the right-hand side to Doherty. Just short of halfway. Infield to Neves. Back to Doherty. Left-footed ball forwards. Just evaded Dendoncker and will go all the way through to the goalkeeper. Fernando dropping very deep for Sevilla. Doing a fairly similar role to Conor Cody in many respects. Maybe Sevilla trying to change up their shape as well. We'll keep an eye on that and get the boys' thoughts on it. Heard from Graham Hunter beforehand and the way that Sevilla do have the potential to change during a game. Here's Koundé. Going to switch it over to this left-hand side. Ever Banega has dropped deep for it. Dendoncker waiting for him to come near the halfway line. Reguilon, Doherty in with a real strong challenge. Too strong for the Italian officials liking this time. And Sevilla with a free kick on halfway. Ever Banega will take. Backwards to Diego Carlos. Infield to Fernando. In that Cody position for Sevilla. Now to Ever Banega to his left-hand side. Up towards the halfway line he comes. Neves trying to get an interception. Got a toe to the ball. Jimenez will pick up on it. Allowed to turn and face forwards, but not too many options in front of him. He went backwards to Moutinho. Infield to the centre circle to Neves. Has to stretch to get it to Bolly. Dendoncker will just flick it for Neves, who first time tried to whip it down the left-hand side. Vinagre, a little bit slow to respond to it, but he got there in the end, and it's going to be given as a throw to Sevilla. Tomo, what are you making at the minute? How are you feeling?
Well, look, say Wolves are still being comfortable on the ball. So look, I know Sevilla's having starting to have a little bit more possession, but just got to keep playing, just play their own game, because we've proved that we can cause them a problem, and they'll be a little bit wary about that, about the pace of Traore and Jimenez up front. So they'll be careful. So opportunity's still there for us to keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. Just need to get Adama Traore into it a little bit more. That's what Neves was trying to do there, but it's cleared away by Reguilon. Ocampos falls to En-Nesyri, trying to help it on to Lucas Ocampos. Saiz did well in the end to stretch and get a toe to the ball. Campos has gone down. Meantime, the cross has gone in and Bolly deals with the first header. Vinagre just nudging his man in the back and clearing the ball forwards. Jimenez, can he try and hold off Koundé this time? Koundé in and winning possession back, and Sevilla looking to come forwards once more. Out to the left-hand side to Reguilon. Back in field again. This is Ever Banega, just into the centre circle. Change passes with Fernando and then whipped it out to the right-hand side. Suso trying to cut in field on his left foot. It's a little drag back, leaves it for Banega. Out to the right-hand side to Jesus Navas, up against Ruben Vinagre. Navas trying to beat him for pace on the outside, but Vinagre is quick enough. Navas still has it though. Matinho going over to help out. Navas manages to dig a cross out deep to the far post, and Willy Bolly with an excellent header behind under real pressure from Yusuf En-Nesyri, trying to get round the back post. And he stuck to his task really well, the big Willy Bolly, who at the minute isn't showing any signs of the injury he picked up in the opening couple of minutes. We'll head to Alex Rae in a minute whilst we wait for Sevilla to take this corner. Get his views in just a second. Hayley says she's watching the game on her own while listening to our commentary from a warm and humid Cannock Chase. It's not doing her blood pressure any good. Come on, me babbies. Corner right-footed from the left-hand side. Everybody back to defend for Wolves. It goes high to the far post. It's Doherty who wins it in the air. Comes all the way through to Suso out by the right-hand corner flag. Pull back to Jesus Navas. Low cross in. Turned away by Leander Dendoncker. And Wolves at the minute, Alex Rae is standing firm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Spaniards have just upped the ante a little bit. You know, moving the ball a lot quicker. But I think when the ball's been put in the air from the wider areas, you feel comfortable that the Wolves guys can actually deal with it. Big Willy Bolly is like colossal at the back. You know, he's dealing with everything that's been thrown in. But they just have to get a grip of the ball a little bit more, or get a breather, because when you're chasing the ball like this, it becomes really tiresome and it just gets more and more confidence for Seville. So it's a case of trying to retain the ball for a little period now.
Reguilon on the edge of the penalty area. Thank you, Alex, by the way. More from Alex Rae, Chris Willow and Andy Thompson. And a special Matchday Live extra. Suso plays the ball down the right-hand side. Here's Jesus Navas up against Matinho, twisting and turning. Left-footed cross into the edge of the 6-yard box. Connor Cody with a powerful header away. Just over 10 minutes to go until half-time. Suso trying to deliver the ball into the box. Matt Doherty watches it all the way behind for a goal kick. Dave Wright, Rocking Chair Dave, says, seeing the old gold and black this far in Europe fills my heart with joy. Going for 2-1 to Wolves. Jared says, lots of positive thoughts and support from San Antonio, Texas. Come on, you Wolves. Let's show Sevilla and Germany what they're made of. Simon says, great to hear Kenny here a bit earlier. Remember his turn and volley from the halfway line. Let's have one from Neves tonight. Oh, we'll take anything. And Neves especially, maybe due one, you know. It's been a while. Espanyol. First leg was the last time we saw a strike from him. Been a while since we've seen Adama Traore get one too. He's just found Matinho in a good position. Infield to Neves, middle of the Sevilla half. And Neves thought about having a dig from distance. Instead turns and goes wide left to Saiz. Further out to Vinagre. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Vinagre with a couple of step overs. Now going towards the byline. Lifts his cross into the danger zone, but comfortably taken by Yassine Bono, the Sevilla goalkeeper. Wasn't really anybody making a run across the near post. Maybe hoping for it to be more stood up than fired in. Get Tomo's thoughts in a second on that as Reguilon comes to the halfway line. Backwards to Diego Carlos. Banega. Diego Carlos again. Ever Banega taking over. Fernando in the centre circle. Into the Wolves half. Suso dropping short for him. Helping it further out to the right side to Jesus Navas. Level with the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand touchline. Back infield to Suso. Will switch the play. Reguilon gets there just ahead of Doherty. Up towards the edge of the box. Trying to pull it back infield to Campos. Fernando, though, under pressure from Traore, has to go backwards to Diego Carlos. Sevilla still pressing, though. Probing again. Wide left to Lucas Ocampos. Ocampos with a couple of step overs. Trying to twist and turn. We'll pull it backwards to Ever Banega. Trying to feed it into the penalty area, but Cody read it and got there ahead of En-Nesyri. Clearance just goes as far as Regulon, though. And still Sevilla come. Here's a Campos turning and curling one and just wide of the far post of Rui Patricio. Not a bad effort. Always felt like Patricio would have it covered in the end. Lucas Campos just shaped back onto his right foot. Found the room. Couldn't quite find the bottom corner, thankfully. And it's just Sevilla just stepping things up here, Tomo. Just making sure that Wolves are pegged back at any possible opportunity here, really.
Yeah, it is. And as you've said there before about the heat, and it's going to be difficult if Wolves just keep chasing the ball with the amount of possession that Sevilla have had. But look, when we've won it back, we've got to try and keep possession of the ball. We've got to try and get our foot on it, just get a few little passes together, get a little bit of momentum. Can we give the ball to Traore to get us up that field a little bit higher? But they've got to work harder just to keep his possession, to stop Sevilla keep coming. Because sooner or later, if you let it go, they're going to punish you.
Well, we are less than 8 minutes away from half-time. As Sevilla come down the left-hand side again, Regulon lifting his cross in. This time it's Saïs's turn to head it away. Dendoncker with the second-headed clearance. Eva Banega got there ahead of Traore. And he tried to strike it goalwards, and Neves, superb job just to put his right foot out and make the ball loop up in the air for Rui Patricio to come and claim it. Patricio throwing out quickly to Bolle. Here's Doherty to Traore. Back to Willy Bolle. Now Traore again. Looking to run past two. Just rather ran out of room in the end. And it will be a Sevilla throw on the halfway line. Sue from Willenhall says we were unlucky with the penalty. Keep playing our game and building. Says she feels less stressed than last week. So come on, me babbies. At Mikey Burrows, at Wolves on Twitter. Use the hashtag Wolves Live. Let us know where you are tuned in and listening to us tonight. Your thoughts on the game as we go through. Really appreciate your messages. And the boys at home keeping me company this evening. The humidity feels like it's rising this evening as well now. Maybe due another thunderstorm at some point. There's a Campos. Infield to Suso. Back wide to Jesus Navas. 10 yards from the right-hand corner flag. Twisting and turning. Pulled back to Suso. Will go for it from distance. And it was blocked by hook or by crook by Romain Saïs. He used the midriff in the end. Regulon. Infield to a Campos. Taken wide left by Banega. Back to Lucas Campos. There's Banega. Blocked off by Willy Bolle. We are 5 minutes to go until half-time. Maybe a little bit added on. There was that injury to Willy Bolle and the little period that they took to VAR check the Wolves penalty. Missed by Raul Jimenez, the first penalty miss of his Wolves career. What an inopportune moment to have that happen. Wouldn't put it beyond him, though, to still produce a moment of magic. Here he is, released by Vinagre. It's a lovely turn and spin from Jimenez, trying to drive forwards, and he just showed him too much of the ball to Koundé, which allowed him to get back to it. Needed to have the ball on his left-hand side to use his body to block off the Sevilla defender, trying to get back to him, but he was trying to pull it back onto his right foot to get himself in the right body shape as he ran into the penalty area. We'll get Chris Iwelumo's thoughts on that in a second. Difficult as a striker when you want to think ahead to get yourself into the right position. Just couldn't quite keep it away from Jules Koundé. And Sevilla have possession inside the Wolves half again through Joan Jordan. Eva Banega, closed down by Traore. Now to Regulon over the halfway line. Out on the left-hand side. There's Campos to Regulon. Infield to Fernando. Back to Carlos. Now taken forwards by Banega. He dropped into the back line. Suso again twisting and turning, finding Jesus Navas on the right-hand side, 30 yards from goal. Back in field once more. Play switched to Lucas Ocampos on the inside left, trying to cut infield away from Dendoncker and then from Neves. He found Fernando. Taken forwards by Eva Banega. On the turn, Jordan striking straight down the throat of the waiting Rui Patricio. Looms, your thoughts on that Raul Jimenez break a moment or so ago? I felt that he just showed a bit too much of the ball to Jules Koundé.
Yeah, it was a great bit of skill. It was a ball from Vinagre, wasn't it? And it's down the line. He's just rolled his man, got away from him. I just felt that he's tried to cut across him, do the right thing, but he just showed too much of the ball. It allowed the defender to kind of get that touch on it and then get himself between the body and man. But it's one of them, you think with the pace that Jimenez has got as well, just take it more towards goal and an angle. And then I think in that period going forward, you can actually try and get across your man a little bit more. It was unlucky, but we're weathering the storm a little bit. Sevilla having definitely more of the ball. They're kind of controlling the tempo, but we have had moments where we kind of slow it down and try and play. There's been times we were just defending, we're just kind of trying to get the ball out the danger area and just giving it back to Sevilla. So it's just a constant wave of attacks from them. But at the minute, it's just can we see it out, get to half time without conceding, and then obviously we go again.
Yeah, only a couple of minutes to go until half time now. Wolves will feel like they should have a goal advantage at this stage. And if they did so, it would make defending in these kind of conditions a lot more comfortable as Saiz tries to lift it forwards. Jimenez controlling on the chest on the wide left. Midway inside the Sevilla half, back to Vinagre. So Jimenez again, who plays it into his own half to remain Saiz. Now taken forwards by João Moutinho. Cross to Willy Bolly. Back infield to Connor Cody. Midway inside his own half. Turns back to his right hand side and finds Bolly. Bolly trying to dink it forwards. Not enough on it to get it to Traore. And Bolly is out of position. And that's allowed En-Nesyri to spin in behind him. Dendoncker trying to get back to help out. En-Nesyri left hand side of the penalty area. And Cody got a touch to the ball, but it actually bounced off Doherty and goes behind for a Sevilla corner. And these are the key moments now as we go into what is pretty much the final 60 seconds of the first 45 minutes or so. Needing Wolves just to hang on here and keep their shape, keep their focus. Everybody back to defend. Traore is out, blocking off a potential short one to Reguilon. He'll come in right-footed from the left-hand side, deep again, and it goes over the top of everybody. And I think there's a swinging arm in there. May well led to a Wolves free kick anyway on Ruben Neves, who I think was up challenging for it. Key moments these, Tomo, aren't they, really? Important just to see the job through now to the break.
Yeah, it is going to be important that they don't concede before the break to keep them at bay. Look, so I know it's a big thing missing the penalty, and I'm sure players have been disappointed, but they've stuck to the jobs really well. They've been disciplined in chasing runners, staying with runners, but I think that Nuno will be saying something at half-time just about when we do win that ball back, can we keep possession of it? Can we release Traore? Because apart from that initial breakaways that he had earlier on, we haven't really given him that supply, and I think that we need to just make sure we can do it.
1 minute of time being added on as Sevilla and the ball go out of play, and it will be a Wolves throw. So we'll have plenty of discussion from Chris Iwelumo, Andy Thompson and Alex Rae at half-time. Traore couldn't hold it up on the halfway line. Banega snapped away at by Ruben Neves. It is going to be a Wolves ball from the throw. Don't forget to send us your thoughts on the first 45 minutes. Use the hashtag Wolves Live to get involved. Doherty with a throw. Jimenez trying to flick the ball forwards. Traore giving chase, but Koundé there first, back to his goalkeeper. Now Diego Carlos. And that is the half-time whistle here at the MSV Arena in Duisburg. Wolves with a golden opportunity to take the lead. Incredible run by Adama Traore, upended by Diego Carlos, who only got a yellow card for it. Some suspicion from our boys anyway that it should have been a straight red for just a crude challenge that was no intention to win the ball, certainly from our view anyway. You can let us know what you think about that. Raul Jimenez, for the first time in his Wolves career, missed from the penalty spot. Maybe usually he tends to wait for the goalkeeper to move and didn't quite do so on that occasion. And it forced a save from Yassine Bono. Rui Patricio has had a couple of saves to make, mainly straight at him in truth and fairness. Adama Traore has been by far the most threatening for Wolves, but they've had to spend long periods without the ball. It just flashed up on the big screen behind the goal to my right-hand side that Sevilla had 71% possession in that first half. It's tough going in hot, humid, stifling conditions here. But at half-time, it is Wolves 0, Sevilla 0. And the thoughts of Andy Thompson, Chris Iwelumo and Alex Rae are coming next.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blythe Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
This season, the Old Goal Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
So half-time then here at the MSV Arena in Duisburg. Paul, I mean, it's been tough going for a lot of that. Sevilla have had a lot of the ball looms. Wolves probably should have been 1-0 up. We would have put the mortgage and more on Raul Jimenez to score. Had to happen sometime, I guess.
Yeah, it did, you know, and it's like I say, it's a massive match, isn't it? He's just a little bit undecided, you know. It was one of them. To be fair to the keeper, he did stay as long as he could, and then he left it down to the player, and it was good reaction. It was an easy height for the keeper to make the save, but you know what? The first 10-15 minutes, very much an even match, and it's just like what I said before. You know, it's can you be clinical when that chance comes, and it's so bizarre. I'm just looking at the stats. It's like I think when Wolves score first, I think it's in the 25 games that they have done this season, they've won 22 and drawn 3. So if he'd got that goal, we don't lose from a winning position, do we? So just little things, you know. I think obviously Sevilla's grew into the match. They're using the ball very well. They're just kind of probing. We're defending for our lives at the minute. We're doing well. Like you say, Patricio's made a couple of saves, but straight at him. But I think if you're Nuno, there's things to work at. We've got individuals that are causing them a few problems when they're given the right service. Jimenez, it's a lot of work around the halfway line as well. He's holding it up well. He's working hard. I want him seeing more in the box, getting on the ball. Can we, likes of Vinagre, Doherty, Traore, can we give that service into the box? And like you say, I think Matinho is getting all over the place. You know, he's picking the balls up. I want to see a little bit more from Neves. Can he get into those advanced areas, 25, 30 yards from goal? We know the quality that he's got from those positions. So can we give him the ball a little bit more? But I've just got to say, Nuno, again, we're in the match. It's 0-0. It's half time. We've just got to go again. We're not going to have it all our own way, but we're going to have moments. It's about being clinical in those moments.
There's an element to it, Alex Rae, isn't there, whereby, you know, look, Sevilla have had an awful lot of the ball, 70-odd% of it. But Wolves it's not like Wolves have been expending energy in chasing after them. They've just kind of allowed them to pass it around, haven't they?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. As much as they've had the ball, Mikey, they've had very few chances. They've had a couple of pops from distance. Jordan had a little curling one, which Patricio had covered the far post. But in the main, I think Nuno will be relatively comfortable. I think he'll be disappointed that he hadn't had the ball. for longer periods, because, as has been mentioned, the problem you have is you're expending energy all the time, and you're just, as the game wears on, someone might switch off due to fatigue. But I think they've been relatively comfortable. I think the early exchanges, I thought when you're getting Traore into the game, and then obviously the penalty was a big moment. But listen, I think I'd be actually quite happy, because we knew that this team were going to be possession-based. Nuno's set up to be a counter-attacking thing. But I think they're coping really well, because every time they try and probe through the middle, there's so many bodies there that it's just getting the pockets picked, Sevilla. And when they cross the ball in from wider areas, you've got 3 centre-halves, then Doherty narrowing in as well. So this team can't really hurt them in the air. I don't want to tempt fate, but so far, they've coped it really well, Wolves.
Tomo, Alex mentioned there, Adama Traore has been the standout player in an attacking sense for Wolves in that first half, and Sevilla found it really hard to deal with him.
Well, I think everybody has since he's come onto the scene with the pace that he's got. But that's what they've got to keep giving him, that delivery. Got to keep giving that pass to run with the ball. And we said that before the game started. It's all about getting that quality into him so he can get at teams. And he's just shown you what he can do if you give him the space and time, or even if he hasn't, he can create that himself with getting the penalty. So it's down to that service, working as a team. But I just think that we need to we're working hard enough to get the ball, but just keeping that possession a little bit longer so we can actually build a little bit of momentum. Because again, if Sevilla keep having the possession what they had, 70-odd%, sooner or later they're going to get something. If you don't try and get them pushed back into their own half.
Go on, Looms.
I think Tom was spot on there. I think we're defending, we're compact. What Alex said, we're not using a lot of energy. But when the ball has come into the box, in that moment when we can get it down, see a pass and play it, sometimes we're just kicking the ball out of play or just defending it and giving it straight back. So that's just another wave of attack coming at us. I just think that's somewhere where we can definitely improve, because there is options. We do have outlets. We can play with a little bit more quality. If it's up to Jimenez to hold, at times he has been isolated, but he has helped the ball for us, and then we've got up. But I just think too many occasions, Connor Cody's come in and he's intercepted a great one. And then we give it straight back, and then I think that's where that curling shot comes from. It's just little moments in that defensive area. Can we do, like Tomo said, just try and play out, be composed, defend well as we're doing, but just have that little bit more quality on the back end of it.
Let's go back to the penalty decision, because Alex Rae, you felt at the time that should have been a red card in your view.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. He's bearing down in goal. The recovering defender's not getting across to impact that, because he's just about to pull the trigger, and he's been brought down from behind. So under the laws of the game, you have to make a kind of a genuine attempt to get the ball, and that wasn't for me, because there was no contact whatsoever on the ball. So I think the referee took the easy decision to give him a yellow card, and I think if you would have probably just a run-of-the-mill game, he would have gave a red card, but because of the magnitude, I think he's kind of bottled it a little bit.
Alex, the VAR, if would say if it's an obvious error, then wouldn't it? That's the job of the VAR.
Oh, it should
Absolutely.
Do, yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at it. So it's not the double jeopardy. If it's a genuine attempt for the ball, but he definitely wasn't the last man, because the other defender was definitely
coming round,
but he wasn't going to get there, and that's where it is. Yeah. So basically, he's stopping a goal scoring opportunity, isn't he? And it should be a red card, because even though he's not last man, the defender's not getting across to him to make the challenge to stop the shot. So again, I totally agree with that.
No, listen, as I said there, it's okay saying he's made a genuine attempt, but he's nowhere near it. Traore's running away from him the whole time, so he's never actually going to catch him. The ball's the other side of him, so he was never actually going to make contact with that. So it's one that they've got away with, but I think that obviously is gone by the by now. I think it's important, and one of the things I would like to see has been an integral part of Wolves as well. And I know it's very difficult because you're trying to get a grip of the ball, but it'd be good if you can get both wing backs to get up a little bit and try and support, because if you just get penned back, as we said here, it just becomes a really long night.
Well, boys, we've seen, haven't we, Tomo? And I'm interested in all three of your thoughts on this, actually. I mentioned part of the way through in the commentary, the way Fernando is playing, that at times he kind of drops in like Cody does for Wolves, and that's enabling the Sevilla fullbacks to push right on and push Doherty and Vinagre back, Tomo.
Yeah, but it comes down to us trying to get possession of the ball. We've got to do better in possession of the ball. If the only way that we're going to get our wing backs up the pitch is with us having the ball. Now, if we keep defending, they're not going to be able to get up. They're not going to be able to break away down the flanks, and that's going to be key for me. That once we get that possession, can our three midfielders start to dictate things a little bit more? Can we start then to have a look at the runners out on the wings, fullbacks, and look for that? But at the moment, because of the possession that Sevilla have had, we just can't get out, and it's just allowing Seville come on to us.
But Tomo, it's how good Sevilla is without the ball as well. You know, I think when we're in good possession of it, you're looking out at Doherty or Vinagre, and you're thinking, okay, but they've got the man press. As soon as the ball goes to them, they've got the man right on them. So we've only got one option. It's just about that easy pass back to where it came from.
Yeah.
Rather than the player get the ball up, look at his man, and can he take him on? Even though we're trying to be expansive, I just think that they're controlling it with the ball, but without it, they are so organised, and it's very much high intensity. But they can't do that for the full match. So it's just about, you know, when they do start to tire, can we capitalise on that?
Well, Graham touched on that before the game, didn't he? The hard work in the trying to the press early. But the thing is, though, with the experience that Wolves have got, they can play a check from the back. Go back to the Conor Cody. Go back and start again. That's the thing. So you haven't always got to think, we've got to go forward straight away, because that's what's happened. We've thought we've got to go forward with that ball. We've ended up giving possession away. Just look at going backwards. Start again. If Sevilla are coming on to us, there's got to be pockets where we can start to break them down.
Is there part of what Sevilla are doing, Alex, I guess in response to what Adama Traore did to them in the first 10, 15 minutes? And do you think then Nuno might look at it and go, well, okay, if they're going to start doing that, maybe we take off a midfielder and go
sacrifice it?
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, if you can get Jota to come in, because I'm actually looking at Navas. Navas was an out-and-out flying machine in his earlier days. Not a great defender. And it may be as the game wears on, Mikey, then you sacrifice one of your midfielders, get somebody to go and take him, you know, somebody that's a flying machine. Because latterly, because he's not a spring chicken anymore. So it may be a case of actually trying to be a bit more expansive as the game wears on. But the key thing is just to keep in the game. You know, that I think they're relatively comfortable. You know, that they've never been troubled yet. Keeper Patricio has not made any save of note. And I don't want to tempt fate, because this is a good outfit. But, you know, they've been relatively comfortable, and there will be a game plan. You know, as the game wears on, I'm sure Nuno will be thinking that in the back of his mind. He goes back to his familiar 4-3-3, and then it allows him to try and get them pinned back as the game wears on.
But we've always been a team that have come strong in the second half as well, haven't we? We've always a team who start to push teams back a little bit more in the second half. So hopefully, a bit of a talk and a few little tweaks by Nuno at half time, they'll come out a little bit more positive, keep possession of the ball, and hopefully, well, he might change the formation and switch things around.
Do you think, Tomo, that we're seeing that element of the Johnny effect? That if he had Johnny, maybe he would be more willing to sacrifice that extra midfielder, because it's Vinagre, who is not quite as strong defensively. He maybe has felt that he needs that extra protection in there.
Possibly. So, but to be fair, he's learning all the time, Vinagre. I think that he's learned so much in the last year and a half. But Johnny's going to be a big miss, because he was a good defender, strong defender, and he's going to be missed in any team. But look, if we haven't got to chase anything yet. As it is, it's 0-0. We've just got to go out there, weigh things up, what things are going on. Nuno seems to make decisions about substitutes about 60 minutes or so. It's humid, as you mentioned there, so he's going to have a look at it. We know what comes with Jota. You've got that physique thing, and he likes that challenge of getting that. And that might even, if we go with the three up front, stopping their fullbacks pushing on, because Traore could come out the right, and you can have Jota out on the left, and that might give our fullbacks a little bit more room to get forward. So it's going to be interesting, because Doughty, we know, links up well with Traore and Jimenez, and that might be something that Nuno will look at half time.
Yeah.
Go on, Liams.
No, I'm just thinking there, I know that Nuno usually makes his substitutions about the hour mark, you know, but you think about it now, you've got extra time. If we're comfortable and it's like they're not really troubling us and we're still in the match, I just think it might be a little bit later. And like what Alex has already alluded to, I think Jota coming on and changing it up. But I just think he'll have one mind not to go gung ho. The hour mark, I'd be very surprised if he makes it tonight, depending how the match is going. You know, obviously, hopefully not. We do not concede, and obviously sudden that he'll be forced to make that change. I just think it might be a little bit later, maybe 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go. Then we'll try and mix it up and really go for it, and see if we can get that winning goal before the 90th minute.
They actually, Mikey, they actually look very comfortable. You know, I know that they've not got a lot of the ball, but the structure of the team is so regimented. They all know it. You've got your back five, you've got three sat in the middle, and they just shuffle across. And then when they have to press and engage in the wider areas, and I think that's one of the things that they do very well. They actually don't allow a lot of balls to come into the box. They get close, the fullbacks, and they stop the ball coming in. They have to get back, and it must be really difficult for them to break down. You know, because they've hardly kind of troubled the goalkeeper.
Because there's an element, isn't there, about game management now as well. I mean, Loom's just talking there because, you know, in these conditions, you don't want to have to be stepping it up for the last 10, 15 minutes to try and get back into it, do you? You need to manage this really well.
Yeah. Mikey, that happened last week. I think Shakhtar scored 2 or 3 goals in the last couple of minutes. You know, 89th minute, they scored a couple of goals, and it was like the later the game wears on, people are getting fatigued. And I think that could be a key factor as well. And then that's the importance of making that right substitution at the right time.
Okay. It's going to be tense and nervy, isn't it? I mean, it's just got that feeling they never do things the easy way.
Yeah, but it's difficult. It's difficult. It's not as easy. Listen, it's okay for all us. I don't know about you guys. I know you're out in Germany sweating big, but I'm sat here in Scotland and I'm kicking every ball. I'm sweating like that.
Tomo, what's it like there?
Well, so I've come golfing with a few lads. I've had to send them out. So like I've just told them, say, Bully's down with me and a couple of lads from Wolverhampton. But yeah, so they were looking forward to the game. They were optimistic about the way things are going. But yeah, I couldn't keep them here. I had to get rid of them, so they'd be too noisy. But
that's a bonus, Tomo, because if Billy was there, man, it might be maybe Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, depending on the result before you get rid of him.
Right, boys, don't go anywhere. We are going to be back underway very shortly. The two teams are out. This is Wolves TV Matchday Live.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. TV Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
So just back underway for the second half here at the MSV Arena in Duisburg. Wolves 0, Sevilla 0. More to come from Alex Rae, Andy Thompson and Chris Iwelumo, watching from home and providing us with their expert insights. So there's very few allowed inside this stadium tonight. I know so many of you would have wanted to be here. The noise would have certainly been very different if you were. Here's Jimenez, infield to Traore. No changes at the break. I'll run you through the two teams in just a second as Traore tries to run it down the left-hand side. Ball will find its way to Moutinho via Vinagre. Moutinho trying to switch it out to the right-hand side to Doherty. Much more advanced position than he's found himself in at many opportunities tonight. He will find Saiz to Vinagre, who pops up in field, but he just forgot the ball as he tried to twist and turn. Suso trying to get away from him, and he's done well to pick out Ever Banega. Onto the left-hand side, Lucas Ocampos up towards the edge of the penalty area, trying to cut back in field. Moutinho did well to close him down and force the ball to go backwards. Here's Suso on the right-hand side, left-footed cross going deep to the far end of the penalty area. Doherty had to deal with it, and he did so, but at the expense of a Sevilla corner. And Wolves immediately having to go on the defensive again at the start of this second half. Only 2 minutes or so into it. Wolves, Patricio in goal. Bolly, Cody Saiz, Doherty, Dendoncker, Neves, Moutinho, Vinagre, Traore and Jimenez, the two up top. We'll get to some of your messages in a minute as well as the ball is whipped in dangerously. Good header away by Dendoncker. It's going to find its way to Jesus Navas. Trying to cut back in field here is Suso. striking, blocked off by Saiz. Sevilla have the ball again. Jules Koundé. Banega, cross to Suso. Suso leaving it for Jesus Navas to the corner of the penalty area. Wide to the right hand side to Ocampos. Ocampos trying to skip away from a couple of challenges. Running the ball forwards, blocked off by Romain Saiz in the end. And it will be given as a Sevilla corner. Wolves trying to hold firm as much as they can do. Ever Banega will go across to take the corner right-footed from the left-hand side this time. We have played just about 4 minutes into the second half. Banega will move away from it. It's whipped in left-footed to the near post. Jimenez with a very good header away. Comes all the way to the halfway line. To Jesus Navas, leaves it for Ever Banega. Loose ball to find Jordan. Down the right-hand side to Suso. Suso up against Saiz. Saiz in with a strong challenge and a free kick given against Romain Saiz. And he's going to get himself a yellow card as well. Maybe more so for his reaction than the actual challenge. Didn't seem an awful lot in that, to be honest. But Romain Saiz finds his way into the referee's notebook. And it'll be a free kick that is pretty much on the edge of the corner D. Banega will come across to take right-footed. So chance to try and swing the ball in. Adama Traore is a one-man wall just on the edge of the penalty area by the byline. Wolves have got everybody else back inside the penalty area trying to defend this. Banega, right-footed, low one in, loops high, headed away by Matinho to the edge of the penalty area. Diego Carlos recycling. Reguilon puts it back into the danger zone. Saiz maybe didn't need to deal with that, and he ended up heading it backwards. He's saying to Patricio that he didn't get the shout. And Wolves had an opportunity to take a bit of pressure off there, and they didn't take it. And it's led to a throw for Sevilla on the right-hand side that Jesus Navas will take quickly. Campos trying to force his way into the penalty area, but Saiz will get to this one, taking it wide, just about saves it from going for another corner, and it will be a Wolves throw this time. Sevilla have Yassine Bono in goal, Jesus Navas, Jules Koundé, Diego Carlos and Sergi Reguilon a back four. Ever Banega, Fernando and Jean Jordan a midfield. Suso, Yusuf En-Nesyri and Lucas Ocampos, their most attacking three. Wolves still trapped deep inside their own half at the minute. Jimenez trying to clear the ball forwards. Just ran into Reguilon. Neves with a good early touch. Had to lift it to the halfway line. Jimenez is everywhere at the minute. Goodness me. Volley's done well to find Doherty. Forced infield to Neves. Having to go backwards to Connor Cody. Flicked forwards by Doherty. And it'll come all the way through to the edge of the Sevilla penalty area. And Carlos dropping deep to get hold of it. Fernando takes it from him. Up to the base of the centre circle. We'll turn and play it back to Diego Carlos. Now Ever Banega. Suso, wide to Ever Banega again. Exchanging passes with Banega. Backwards to Diego Carlos. Across to Jules Koundé. I'll head to Tomo in a minute to get his thoughts on where the second half has started. As Jesus Navas tries to keep the ball in. Backwards with Jules Koundé to Diego Carlos. Left-hand side to Ever Banega. Inside his own half, trying to switch the play. Vinagre thought he could intercept it. He did so. Found Matinho. Finds Neves. Was caught late by Fernando. Free kick to Wolves. Tomo, what have you made of the opening couple of minutes then?
Well, it's much of the same as the first half, isn't it? Sevilla having a lot of possession. Wolves finding it difficult to get the foot on the ball a little bit. Just watching the way that Sevilla closed the ball down. they press it so quickly and they try and win it back in that top third. As I said earlier, this is when Wolves have got to be a little bit more composed and patient and just try and take the sting out of the game a little bit against them.
Yeah, they are holding firm, aren't they? And maybe with an opportunity now as Connor Cody is over the free kick inside the centre circle just to lift it forwards in the direction of Dendoncker. Couldn't quite get it to the first header, but Wolves will end it with a throw, pretty much level with the edge of the penalty area. On the Wolves' right-hand side, Wolves playing right to left as I and the TV cameras look at it second half. It's pretty much identical stands all the way round. Amazing stadium for a third-tier club in German football. There's Doherty with the throw. Bolly is forwards. He got a flick on. Saiz was trying to get there. Jimenez looping, and it was just over the top of the crossbar. And I think the referee had seen a little bit of a nudge in there that he didn't like. Interesting from Wolves that they absolutely gambled and sent Bolly, Saiz, and Dendoncker into there from the throw. Get the thoughts of Alex Rae in a second as Jesus Navas goes backwards to Jules Koundé. Fernando to find Diego Carlos. Your thoughts as well are more than welcome. Hashtag Wolves Live on Twitter if you want to get in touch. There's Diego Carlos in possession. Long diagonal ball, direction of Suso, chesting the ball down. Neves will get to it first though. Found Jimenez. Jimenez on the turn. Now can he try and release Traore or just a heavy ball? Traore wasn't expecting it. I think Jimenez thought that he was just going to be on his bike and running through, but Traore thought it was coming to feet instead, and the two weren't quite on the same wavelength, which is not altogether that surprising. It's been very rarely that they have played as a two up top. Wolves do have the option of bringing Diogo Jota or Pedro Neto on at some point if they want to change things up there. At the minute, they are being pegged back again. Suso, Jesus Navas down the right-hand side, blocked off by Vinagre. Another Sevilla throw. Navas thought it should have been a handball against Vinagre. Gets it back from Jordan. Now Jordan trying to twist back into his left foot in the penalty area. Back onto his right again. Low cross, brilliantly blocked by Ruben Neves. Excellent work from Neves. Stick to his defensive duties there. He's got through an awful lot of work tonight. Manoeuvring, manipulating in that midfield. Trying to be where his team needs him the most. And Dendoncker wins a free kick for Wolves here. Let's hear from Alex Rae on what he's made of the opening 10 minutes or so of the second half.
Yeah, it's pretty much the similar theme for the first time, Mikey. They've had plenty of the ball. They're going from side to side. They're trying to probe through the middle. And when you look at the back five of Wolves and the midfield three, they are working tirelessly to try and keep the back door shut. And again, we just need to try and get something going from middle to front so that you can get some sort of breather, because this is, as I said earlier on, it's so tiring to chase the ball for long periods of the game, and they just get that little bit of respite. But I think you might actually see a substitution within the next 5 or 10 minutes because you need to try and get something going the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. Nuno is stood arms folded on the edge of his technical area at the minute as Dendoncker finds Neves. To Jimenez, back to halfway to Saiz, out to the left-hand side to Vinagre. Infield to Jimenez. Vinagre had set off for the return ball and he got it from the Mexican. Vinagre now looking to find his way into the penalty area. Back onto his right foot, pulling it backwards to Moutinho. Moutinho across to Ruben Neves. Neves trying to strike it, didn't really get enough behind it. It was blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Diego Carlos, I think. Everyone expects when Ruben Neves gets into that kind of situation, maybe just pressured a bit too much that put him off. João Moutinho could have had a hit. He's found Neves again. Wolves are growing into this in the second half now. Played about 12 minutes since the break. Here's Traore to Jimenez. Jimenez, 25 yards from goal. He's got Doherty out to his right-hand side. Forces him wider than he wanted to. And in fact, he's forced the ball out of play for a goal kick. That was a rare loose pass by Raul Jimenez, but this is better for Wolves at the minute, and they are building into this, Tomo.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit of confidence, aren't they? Keeping the ball, and that's what they need to do. They need to do that against Sevilla. They need to try and get a little possession, make them chase the ball for once, So Wolves have had to do it for long spells. But that's the main thing. Can they just get that little bit of possession, get themselves up the pitch? And we spoke about the fullbacks. We've got to try and get those fullbacks up to support the attackers. And the only way of doing that is to keep possession of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. It's key, isn't it? Especially in these conditions as well. I mean, I know it's probably been hot and stifling at home, Tomo, but we are very late into the night. I'm just trying to check on my phone. It's 10:15 at night local time, and it is still, I think, a good 30 degrees or so, maybe more.
Yeah, the heat will be sapping. The heat will be sapping. It'll be difficult for them as well, because I've been to Seville. It's a very warm place, so they might be used to it a little bit more than the Wolves team. But again, it's if they can just get possession of the ball, just try and get themselves further up the pitch, do a little bit of composure on it as well. By all means, go back, build again. And that's what they've just got to do. Get a little bit of momentum so that Sevilla are pushing back.
Sevilla in possession right now. Kunde is taken on by Suso. Officially, it's 26 degrees, but according to the weather app, it feels like 31. Here's Lucas Ocampos, right inside the penalty area, pulling it back to Jordan. And what a good challenge by Dendoncker. Ball's gone behind for a corner. Dendoncker feels that it should have been given as a goal kick, but it takes away from what was an excellent piece of defending by him. And I mentioned Neves a few moments ago. The Wolves midfielders are sticking to their defensive duties incredibly tightly at the minute, and they're having to do so by relentless pressure being applied by Sevilla. So far, Wolves are standing firm, and it is still 0-0 in the Europa League quarter-final. Corner right-footed from the right-hand side, comes all the way through to the edge of the box, and ball flashed back out. It was Reguilon who tried to hit it, and it just went harmlessly through the penalty area and behind for a goal kick. Helen says so frustrated, goalie clearly off his line, and two players encroaching Raoul's pen, but feeling hopeful in Luton. Richard listening in from Gothenburg, Sweden. Come on, Wolves. Pam, Auntie P, feeling sweaty on the Shifnal sofa. James is sampling a range of French cheeses whilst listening in Marseille. Both banking on a signature second half surge from the boys. Let's have it. Lots of positive thoughts and support from San Antonio, Texas. Come on, you Wolves. Let's show Sevilla and Germany what Wolves are made of, says Jared. It's been difficult for large periods this evening, but hopefully Wolves are doing you proud. Fighting. It's probably an apt word to describe it. We'll hear from Chris Iwelumo hopefully shortly and hear what he makes of the opening period of the second half. As we go past the hour mark, it's starting to tick by relatively quickly. Still, it's Sevilla making the running as Banega runs over the halfway line. Out to Suso on the right-hand side, 35 yards from the Wolves' goal. Down the line to Jesus Navas, back infield to Eva Banega. A little short pass finding Jordan. Banega again. Switch to Diego Carlos. He'll try and play it back out to the right-hand side to Suso. Showed a little bit too much of it to Vinagre, who got there and tried to clear it forwards, but Kunde was there ahead of Traore, and the ball is not sticking up top at the minute. Eva Banega to Suso. Suso trying to cut infield on his left foot. Martinho with him for company. Goes out to Jesus Navas on the right-hand side. Navas up against Vinagre, trying to scoop it into the penalty area. And again, it's Leander Dendoncker who read the danger. But it's going to come back once more. This is Navas. Infield to Jordan. Wide out to Suso on the right-hand side. Level with the edge of the box. Banega. Navas up against Vinagre. Shaping right and left. Pulls it back. Banega's low cross. It's Dendoncker again in the right place to clear. Vinagre's header away. Neves challenging. And Naziri trying to force his way into the penalty area. Still going. Stabs it goalwards. And Rui Patricio saving low down to his left-hand side. Hasn't had a huge amount to do, Rui Patricio. And he was well positioned again there. And Naziri forcing his way through. Just about held off the challenges and managed to get a poke on the ball. But Rui Patricio made the save. And Wolves are living relatively dangerously at the moment, Chris Iwelumo.
Yeah, I think the last probably 5 minutes, Sevilla have come into it, haven't they? They're controlling it a lot more. I thought we were playing out, we're using the ball pretty well. I think Leander Dendonker's shown exactly why he's in there. He shows it up, he sees the danger, he reads the game so well, and to be fair, he's been defensively sound, hasn't he? Some of the interceptions and the challenges that he's made. Again, Patricia's not really been tested. Hopefully, long may that continue. It's just down to defending well, but I just feel we go back to what Tomo said at half time, and it's just about us using the ball a little bit better in that transition. If we're just defending, when that moment comes for us to get out and play, and to be fair, probably before 5 minutes ago, we were actually trying to get out. Vinagre has a couple of chances to put the ball in. I think Neves had the one that was a shot from distance that was blocked. So I just feel that, we need to choose those moments a little bit more. The quality that we've got, we're defending well, but can we play out with it?
Absolutely. Looms, thank you very much indeed. More from Chris Iwelumo, Andy Thompson and Alex Rae, who are watching at home for us, providing their expert insights and punditry. Sevilla have a free kick midway inside the Wolves half. En-Nesyri was clattered in the air. Suso is stood over the ball. Campos is there relatively close to him. Wolves trying to hold their defensive line just outside the penalty area at the moment. 64 minutes have been played in Duisburg, Germany. Suso stood over the ball still. There are 5 white shirts waiting to make a run in. Suso playing it short, something from the training ground, and actually the ball hit the back of the referee's head, and so we'll have to have a little stoppage, and the Italian official might have got a sore one there. That was pretty close range. I think Eva Banega fired the ball at him, and Daniele Assorto is, I think, just pausing for a moment just to catch his breath, as many of us inside this stadium are needing to do. Drop ball gives possession back to Sevilla. Suso out to the right hand side to Navas. Up against Traore, tracking back there now. Suso will play the ball back in field. Jordan able to try and run it forwards. Ball goes to the left hand side.
Got to go 4 yards away. Wolves players.
It's Reguilon. Attempted cross blocked off by Doherty at the expense of another corner. I can tell you that Alex Rae has absolutely no sympathy for the official in our WhatsApp group. We'll go to Alex in a moment. As Wolves trying to defend this set piece once more. 65.5 minutes played in the MSV Arena. Corner right-footed from the left-hand side. Whipped into the danger zone. It's Bolly who got his head to it. Sent it to the far side of the penalty area where Suso brought the ball down to the control. Up against João Moutinho. Onto his left foot, Suso. That's a dangerous one, and it's headed high over the top of the crossbar. It was a swinging cross in that reached the edge of the 6-yard box. I think it was Jules Koundé who got the final touch to it, and maybe, thankfully, he was just leaning back a touch and couldn't quite get over the top of it as Suso whipped the ball in dangerously. Koundé got the touch, but guided it over the top of the crossbar. And again, Sevilla just pressing and pressing and doing as much as they can to push things back here, Alex Rae.
Yeah, I have to say, Mikey, that's without doubt the best chance that Seville have actually carved out there. That's a golden opportunity. He just has to get over that and guide that back, and it's 1-0. But, it's worrying times at the moment. They just can't get any breathing space. Wolves, they can't retain the ball. And unfortunately, it's like wave after wave at the moment. And I think the guys are kind of constantly reiterating that we need to get a grip of the ball. But the problem you have is the ball's up to Traore and Jimenez are like bread and butter, so it's just a wave after wave. So just need to try and find some quality, get on the ball, but they just have to weather this storm at the moment.
Yeah, there's another wave coming now, though Navas has shown too much of that to Vinagre, who clears to the halfway line. Koundé got there ahead of Traore again, though. The Wolves are maybe starting to look a little bit tired. The heat that's been sapping their muscles at the end of an incredibly long season, the 59th game of it. It has been such a long campaign. They have been going for well over a year, and they are still fighting. 383 days into the 2019-2020 seation. We hope it doesn't end tonight. They're going to have to dig deep and find, well, of energy and reserves again as Doherty blocks off Reguilon from coming round at the far post. Let's go to Andy Thompson and find out how you're feeling about things in the last 5-10 minutes, Tomo.
Yes, we're just struggling to get any quality up to the front two at all. We're just kicking the ball out rather than trying to pick them out or give them some opportunity to actually get hold of it. It just seems to be we just want to get rid of the ball, and that's got to change. If we're going to do anything, we've got to be putting quality up there. And at the minute, it's just not happening. The front two are getting a little bit frustrated with the lack of quality up to them, I think.
Yeah, we wait to see whether there's going to be any changes. I can see Nuno in discussion with Rui Pedro Silva, and I think Pedro Neto has just been told to get his kit ready to come on. So I wonder whether Wolves are going to change the shape here and maybe try and force Sevilla into doing something a little bit different. We are approaching the last 20 minutes of the game. Wolves need to have a little rethink, find out a way of turning the tide that has been flowing far too much towards Rui Patricio's goal. Jared reckons Patricio is the man of the match at the minute, says let's counter-attack. Here's Jesus Navas on the halfway line for Sevilla. Down the line for Suso. Shown in field by Vinagre. Matinho trying to win it, couldn't quite do so. Jordan finds Navas again. Backwards to Koundé inside his own half. Fernando finding Navas. Good foot in by Vinagre this time. Neves forwards. Jimenez couldn't quite get there ahead of Diego Carlos. Wanted a foul. Sevilla have the ball and Banega is able to run forwards unchallenged. Finds En-Nesyri on the edge of the penalty area. Trying to bring it back on his right foot. And again, it's the Ander Dendoncker who is in the right place. He reads the game so well. Superb bit of defending from him too. It's been such an influential player this season. In defence or midfield, he has been there when called upon. And he has got through an awful lot of running tonight as well. Diego Carlos is still down, so we'll need a bit of treatment. We'll check in with our pundits in just a minute as we wait to see how long this treatment will be for him. Let's go to Tomo, and as most of the players come over to get a drink. Pedro Neto, pretty imminent here, Tomo. Do you think that'll be a change in shape or a like for like? Not got Tomo at the minute. We'll try and get some of the boys up in just a second to give us their views. I'll get you some of, in fact, Tomo is there now. Let's hear from Tomo. What do you think of the Neto coming on?
Yeah, I think they need some fresh legs on there.
By the way, it's Matinho he's coming on for.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting then. So that'll probably be the three up front then. So I think they just need to try and stop the fullbacks flooding forward. I think Sevilla had players coming forward and it's non-stop, and I think that'll be a change of shape. You get Jimenez straight down the middle. Traore probably push out a little bit further on the right-hand side. And look, he's making a positive change. He wants to go for it. I know it's still 0-0, but he's not going to be happy with the way that Sevilla are coming at Wolves and the pressure that's building on them.
Chris Iwelumo is there as well. Very quickly, Looms. How brave is that to take Matinho off to bring on young Pedro Neto and change the shape?
No, very much an offensive thing, and I think that can just kind of probably stimulate a kind of positive reaction. Hopefully, just exactly what Tomo said. You know, they'll know that the manager wants them to go for it with the change that they're making, and just with the pace and the technical ability of Neto as well. He's got to come on and make a positive impact. But again, that sends a message to all the players. You know what? We're in a match here. There's only 20 minutes to go. So let's go and get the win.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chris Iwelumo. We'll hear from Alex Rae in a couple of moments' time. As it's 0-0, 72 minutes have been played in Duisburg. Here's Suso. Out to the right side to Jesus Navas, trying to put a low cross into the danger zone. Cody couldn't quite get there. Campos hits it against Bolly. And Bolly has done really well to find Traore. Or Banega just sat down and managed to block off Traore. Bolly again with a recovery challenge. What a good bit of play from him. And he finds Jimenez just short of the halfway line. Back to Doherty. Traore was setting off. He couldn't quite hear him. I don't know whether you can hear the thunder in the background. think there was a flash of lightning a moment ago. Storms are coming. Maybe it could change things for Wolves. Here's Traore up towards the right-hand side. Almost level with the edge of the penalty area now. Up against Reguilon. Traore lifting across in. Jimenez was stretching, couldn't quite get there. And the chase was on to try and get to the loose ball. It will be a Sevilla throw. That was an excellent ball in by Adama Traore. There's just too much on it for Raul Jimenez. And the referee, I think, has seen something he doesn't like in the Wolves bench at the minute. Can't quite see all the way down the bottom there. He's telling Nuno off for something. We'll hear from Alex Rae in just 1 second. Here's Reguilon, infield to Eva Banega. Fernando. Banega again, deep inside his own half, up to Suso on the halfway line, allowed to turn and looking to try and run it forwards. And Naziri will give chase to his threaded through ball. Vinagre got back in front of him, forced to concede the corner though. And yet more pressure on this Wolves team. It's taken quickly. Here's Suso swinging across in, headed away by Saiz. And Jimenez has got a touch to it, but he couldn't quite find Traore before Diego Carlos could intercept. And if Wolves are going to get something, you feel it will be on the counter-attack. It's just whether they can make the ball stick for long enough. Get the players sweeping forwards. Here's Jesus Navas, trying to sweep on the outside of Ruben Vinagre. Stands his cross up high to the far post. Doherty had to head it away. Did so, and it's out of play for a throw out on the far side, midway inside the Wolves' half. As soon as we get a stoppage lengthy enough, I'll head to Alex Rae. As again, another bit of thunder in the distance. Maybe getting closer towards this MSV arena. Doherty with another foot in, another throw to Sevilla. Going backwards. Banega inside the Wolves' half. Good 10, 15 yards in it. Infield to Jourdain, just out of the centre circle. Out to the right-hand side to Suso. Much more of a breeze reaching us at the top of the stand here as the weather begins to turn. Suso, infield to Banega. Banega onto his left foot, curling high and wide. He's going to get a free kick, though. Foul by Connor Cody inside the D. Dendoncker is trying to make the point that he got the shot away cleanly, but the Italian official disagrees. And Wolves in a difficult position here. Sevilla's free kick, maybe a touch too close, but it'll be an opportunity to have a go at Rui Patricio's goal nonetheless. Let's hear from Alex Rae while we wait for him to line up this free kick very quickly. Alex, this is a really interesting period now.
Yeah, it's vital. I think there was a positive move by Nuno, but if you see the replay there, Connor Cody's trailing leg just catches him in the follow-through. But again, if they can see this out, I think it's a very positive move by going back to their familiar shape, the 3-4-3, and hopefully they can kick on now.
Yeah, Alex, stay there. I'll come back to you after the free kick in just a moment. Suso and Banega are the two men stood over it. Banega right-footed, Suso left. They've actually moved it. The referee's placed it a yard or so further back than it looked like it should have been to me. So it's just outside the D, very central looking towards Rui Patricio's goal. Wolves have a four-man wall with a couple of men either side of it trying to block a route, though I think Patricio didn't like the fact that Neto was blocking his view. And referee putting more spray down to keep Neto 10 yards away. Eva Banega it is that clips it over the wall, and Patricio with a stunning stop. Flying to his left-hand side. It's what we've come to expect from Rui Patricio. He is a top world-class goalkeeper, and he actually makes that look very, very easy, and it absolutely wouldn't be, because he wouldn't have seen it till late as it was just dinked over the top of the wall. Corner's taken quickly. Here comes Sevilla again. Eva Banega on the right-hand side. Cross hits Traore and goes behind. Alex Rae, that was a good stop, wasn't it?
Yeah, he anticipated it over the wall, Mikey. Just shifts his feet across the goal line and just tips it over for a corner. It's just, again, it's just a similar theme. You know, there's a lot of pressure by Sevilla. I have to say, the Wolves defending, the back line's ever so impressive. And you have to say that Dendoncker
Corner is
really it's been pivotal.
Far side. Sorry, Alex, I'll let you finish in just a second as it comes back out and he's lifted in by a Campos. Saiz getting the ball away. Not fully cleared, but Neto was looking to try and break away there. Jimenez saw that, attempted clearance, and just gone high into the air. It's going to come down with snow on it. As Bolly manages to get the header clear, nearly up into the thunderstorm clouds above us as Neto wins Wolves a throw. And final thing I wanted to ask you, Alex, actually, I mean, it's all about counter-attack, really, isn't it, for Wolves at this stage? And they've shown that they've got the pace. They're going to bring Jota on right now, actually. I'll just wait before I come to you, because I know you won't be able to see for 30 seconds who he's coming on for.
I think it'll be Traore, I would imagine.
It is Adama Traore. You're absolutely spot on. So Wolves with Jota and Neto either side of Jimenez now, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes total sense. You've got two guys who are very, very powerful, busting for down the flanks, and they'll be looking to try and get service into the middle for Jimenez. Listen, it's such a brave move by the manager. I wouldn't be surprised if it was part of his game plan just to work it to this point. You're going to bring in two flying machines, and they can expose these fullbacks as they're trying to push for this winner as well, Seville. So it's very, very finely poised.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. We're into the last 11 minutes of the 90. Is there to be late drama in Duisburg? Doherty back to Bolly. Wolves have stood firm for this long, and maybe with a little bit of more of a cooling breeze that will sweep into the stadium. Well, it arrived just in time for Wolves' second wind to go forwards and take this game. We've seen them score late plenty of times. Bolly having to deal with a long diagonal ball that came off his head and goes out of play by the corner flag for a corner. Heading towards the final 10 minutes. Rocking Chair Dave says we are holding them out just. Justice is enough at this stage. Corner again, right-footed from the left-hand side. Ever Banega to take. Everybody back to defend. Low one into the near post. Jota able to get the ball clear. It's going to drop to Jimenez. He's going to try and set Neto away here. That's an excellent ball. Now, Neto, just for a moment, was one-on-one. He's up to the edge of the penalty area. Still going, Pedro Neto, trying to get a right-footed cross in, and there were just too many bodies back there to block him. Doherty heading the ball forwards, though. Jota let it go over his head, and it's picked up by En-Nesyri, who tracked back, though. He's giving it to Vinagre. Jota, back to Neves. Maybe a moment that Wolves can set themselves and try and put a bit of pressure on Sevilla for a change. Clear that the exuberance of Pedro Neto, the confidence that young man has. Now Saiz with a good ball. Here's Jimenez, left-hand side of the penalty area. Low one in, and the goalkeeper claims it just before Pedro Neto could get there. Might have been a suspicion of offside. The flag didn't go up in the end against Raul Jimenez. And it'll go down as a possible opportunity. 9 minutes of normal time remaining. Here comes Sevilla down the left-hand side. We'll head to Tomo in just a second for his thoughts as Vinagre intercepts again. Balls over the halfway line to Jota. Looks like he's going to be full of running. Maybe take advantage of the fresh legs that he has. Couldn't quite get around the outside of Koundé this time. And Sevilla win possession back again. And some of the Sevilla players were almost at walking pace at the minute. Expended so much energy in trying to force Wolves back constantly. And is this part of a game plan? The Wolves been suckering them in for 80 odd minutes. The old Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope. Banega, is that just wishful thinking maybe? There's Koundé, across to Diego Carlos. Now Koundé again, just to the right of the centre circle on halfway. Banega, I say Sevilla pretty much just walking at the minute. Here's Suso down the right-hand side, blocked off by Ruben Vinagre. There'll be another Sevilla throw that Jesus Navas wants to take quickly. Infield to Banega. Banega looking to lift a diagonal into the penalty area, and Bolly just got a touch on it. Forced it behind for a corner. Very quickly, Andy Thompson. It's a situation at the minute where Wolves have got to trust in their own fitness and trust in the subs they brought on to make the difference.
Well, that's been the one thing that you can always say about Wolves, that they are ready for games, that the fitness levels are incredible. They've had a long season, but I think bringing on the fresh legs, just giving them a little bit more of a threat up front, and you can see the reason why Nuno's done it. So like you're thinking about Jota and Neto coming on, and already they've had a couple of half chances, not quite a massive threat, but you can
I'll just pause you there as the corner's going to be whipped in. Dangerous scene, it's headed over the top. It was a viciously whipped in ball, and the referee has seen it come off a Wolves head in the end. Sevilla had bodies flying in at the near post. Best set piece that Sevilla have produced all game so far. I think it might have been En-Nesyri who was closest to it for Sevilla. Wolves defended it strongly. Another corner though, again right-footed from the left-hand side. Again, everybody back to defend. It's whipped in towards the near post. Jimenez heads the ball clear. Ever Banega will pick up on it midway inside the Wolves half. Back cross field to Jesus Navas. Out to the right-hand touchline to Suso. Suso trying to cut in field on his left foot, trying to slide it in behind Romain Saiz, but out of play for a goal kick. Tomo, I'll come back to you. You were making a point about Wolves trusting in their fitness and trusting that they can get this through, and if they can get something in the next couple of minutes and really knock the stuffing out of Sevilla team who are going to make a double change as you speak.
Yeah, so look, and that's the one thing that they've always been good at. They always finish games strongly. I know you said about the heat and everything else, but again, so look, these Wolves players have been conditioned to work as hard as they can for not just 90 minutes, but longer than that if possible. And just the fresh legs that they've brought on is hopefully going to help them just to get up that pitch a little bit more.
Well, it's Jean Jourdain coming off. Franco Vazquez has come on, and Youssef En-Nesyri, the striker, is coming off, and Luke de Jong is coming on. He had a very unsuccessful spell with Newcastle, it has to be said. He was much more prolific in Holland, and he is on. Graham Hunter said to us before the game that Sevilla had to make the change because he hadn't been in the goals. Let's hope that continues. So a double change from Sevilla as they try and change things and maybe bring on some fresh legs in the hope of forcing Wolves back. We have 5 minutes of normal time to go. Sevilla throw on the left-hand side. We'll hear from Chris Iwelumo, hopefully, in the next couple of minutes. As Neves trying to find Jota. Dendoncker with a foot in. Ball's coming wide towards Vinagre. Vinagre trying to get away from Suso. Lost his footing and wins a free kick that you can probably hear the Sevilla bench down below us didn't agree with. At the moment, anything could happen in these final couple of minutes. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, whatever lucky ritual you have, do it now. We need your support more than ever. Raise the roof in Wolverhampton and around the world as Cody launches forwards towards Bolly. 2 defenders climbed above him to clear. Vazquez to Suso. Up to the halfway line, held up by Vinagre. A little trip on him. Free kick for the Spanish team. Last 3 and a bit minutes of the 90. Get in contact. Use the hashtag #WolvesLive.
4 minutes remaining.
Send your messages. Send your belief. This journey cannot end. The Wolves have to produce something special. Suso, still 0-0. Ball slid in behind. Ocampos, low cross in. Turned behind for a corner by Romain Saiz. The pressure is not easing as we go into the final 3 minutes. Wolves have stood firm all night. Missed a penalty in the first half that would have made things... Actually, I don't think it would have made things any easier at all. Sevilla would have still pressed. Here's Banega. Lifted in, headed in, and into the far corner. Oh, no. It's Lucas Ocampos who flicked it in. Ever Banega's cross. Ocampos' header evades the outstretched right hand of Rui Patricio. Wolves' steadfast defensive work could not last for the full 90. And they now need to find something equally special in the final 2 minutes or so to keep alive their Europa League dreams. Sevilla have been in control for much of it. They've been pressing and testing, and eventually they found a cross that got its way through. You can hear the Sevilla radio behind me going absolutely crazy, as we would be if it were a Wolves goal. It's Wolves 0, Sevilla 1. Mr. Iwelumo, that is a big sucker punch for this team.
Yeah, it is. You know, just absolutely gutted because defended so well. There was a lot of corners coming in, and like you say, the Campo he's attacked it well, and Rui Patricio can't do anything about that. You know, so yeah, you know what? I can't see it was coming because, like you say, we were defending our lines, we were defending our areas, we were going, putting our head and our bodies on the line, and it's just a deciding one. So now it's just about throwing everything at it. Can we react? Can we get into the final third, attacking third, create something, and we'll see what we can do, because it's just throwing everything at it for the last couple of minutes.
40 seconds of normal time to go. Munir has come on for Suso. Ball has gone all the way behind for a Sevilla goal kick. Wolves need a miracle. Keep alive their Europa League adventure. The 59th game of their season. Sevilla are under no rush to take this goal kick, by the way. It's going to be launched forwards. Saiz needs to be underneath it. Wins the header. Drops though in midfield to Vasquez. Wolves need the ball back first and foremost, and Sevilla have done a pretty good job of keeping it most of the night. And Reguilon plays it off Doherty for a Sevilla throw. Into stoppage time. Waiting for the fourth officials board to come forward with how much is going to be added on. Here he comes now. 4 minutes. 4 minutes for Wolves to save themselves. Here's Munir, caught by Ruben Neves, who will get a yellow card. He just needed to stop him. Wolves have got to find a way to get the ball back and get one more chance, Tomo. They've got to believe.
Yeah, of course they have. So they've got to believe that they can get that one opportunity and get them level. And I know they've had a lot of possession to Seville, but they've got to start pushing forward. They've got to start gambling now. So they might as well lose it 2-0 if they're going to lose it 1-0.
Absolutely. Can they find one more spark of magic at the end of a season that has been so promising for so long? It's taken us to places we never dreamed we could go. Neves trying to lift one forwards for Jota, nodded back by Koundé to his goalkeeper though. Neto having to chase him and make sure that the keeper picked it up. We are a minute and a half into the 4 minutes being added on. Wolves 0, Sevilla 1. Big long kick forwards. Sevilla just trying to get it as deep into the Wolves half as they can. Saiz forced to head the ball out of play for a throw to the Spanish team, who are going in search of a record Europa League victory. Every time they've got through the quarterfinals, they've gone on to win. Wolves were always up against it, against the team who finished fourth in La Liga. As Campos, the goal scorer, takes it towards the corner flag, trying to hold it up. Foot in by Saiz. Vasquez has it. He's now trying to take it to the corner flag. Wolves will get themselves a free kick. They have less than 2 minutes to get forwards and try and get something to get an equaliser. It is literally now or never. Doherty to launch it in the direction of Jimenez, won by Koundé. Neves trying to head it forwards, intercepted by Vázquez. Saiz couldn't quite win it. It's going to be taken over the halfway line by Lucas Ocampos. Ocampos trying to get away from Vinagre. Now up against Cody in the penalty area. Brilliant tackle by Cody. Only cleared to the edge of the penalty area though. Banega striking over the top of the crossbar. And the referee says it took a deflection. And we have 1 more minute to go. Como, I don't know whether you can still hear me. There's this situation, isn't it, where time is just against them, and it always happens in these kind of scenarios.
Yeah, I was going to say, now we're chasing the game. It's going to be difficult, because they're going to do everything they can just to run down the clock or waste time. And now it's just going to be one of those things. They're just take your time, don't rush it. And unfortunately, because it come late on in the game, it's just going to kill it off a little bit. Unfortunate.
Just put the ball out of play. It's going to be a goal kick. Thank you very much, Tomo. Rui Patricio has got to clear it downfield. There are 15 seconds remaining of the 4 minutes being added on. And it's back into the Wolves half again. And it's Luke de Jong who's running it down the left-hand side this time. Ball in field. A big opportunity for Vázquez, and it needed Vinagre to come across, but it's out of play. It'll be a Sevilla throw. And they are not in any rush to go across and take it. Bolly thought it was going to be a corner. He raced over to place the ball down for them. We're in added time of added time. All eyes on the Italian official who blows his whistle. And Wolves' Europa League adventure comes to an end in cruel circumstances in Duisburg. It's Sevilla who celebrate. Wolves players flat out on the deck. The frustration and disappointment is there to see. For so long, they defended stoutly. They defended with character and desire and so much heart. But they could not see it all the way through. And Lucas Ocampos' header, with just minutes remaining, sends Sevilla through to a semi-final date with Manchester United in Cologne next weekend. And after 59 games, this 2019-20 season that has lasted 383 days comes to an end. What a year it has been. And it is really important, everybody, that you don't get too disheartened by what has happened tonight, because this Wolverhampton Wanderers team have come from nowhere. 3 years ago, 15th in the Championship, in the second tier in English football, when Sevilla were winning this competition. That's the level that Wolves have stepped up in the last couple of years. We have seen so many players come in and give absolutely everything. Their spirit, everything about them makes you proud. And if you are at home now, or wherever you are around the world, do not shed a tear for this. Do not feel downhearted or disjointed at Wolves going out of the Europa League. Dreaming was free, and it is still free, and it will continue to be free. And we have felt that dream, and we have risen out of a nightmare that has been some of the years that we have gone through in the last 48 since Wolverhampton Wanderers, the team that pioneered continental competition in the 50s, were last through to the latter stages of European competition. They are back. This is what we have wanted for years and years and years. So don't ever feel down about what this team have achieved, because they have taken us to heights that we never thought possible even 2 or 3 years ago. They may have lost tonight, but this team will always be winners in the hearts and minds of everybody who holds Wolverhampton Wanderers dear. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we'll get the thoughts of our pundits. Do not go anywhere. This is Wolves TV, Matchday Live Extra.
And it was disappointing. I mean, first half I thought they were winning the game.
Matchday Live on Wolves TV, powered by Blight Group. Listen for free online at wolves.co.uk or on the move anywhere in the world via the Wolves app. Wolves TV, Matchday Live, powered by Blight Group.
This season, the Old Gold Club and Wolves TV Matchday Live are powered by Blythe Group, an industry-leading construction company and family-run business since 1982, driving investment and infrastructure across the UK. Blythe Group's mission is to provide an unrivaled service based on innovative, bespoke building solutions and comprehensive customer support. If you're a skilled tradesperson and you want to join the team that powers our team, contact their bases in Wolverhampton, Manchester or Maidenhead via theblythegroup.co.uk. Blythe Group, big enough to deliver, small enough to care.
Wolves TV Matchday Live, powered by Blythe Group.
Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra here in Duisburg. So it didn't turn out to be the way we wanted it to be. Iwelumo and Alex Rae rejoining us. Tomo has had to go, but we thank him for his contribution, not just tonight, but throughout the season. My old mucker, who has been with me every single step of the way. Iwelumo, it had to happen at some point, didn't it? They were pressing and pressing and pressing, and eventually Sevilla were going to find a way through. It's just heartbreaking. Yeah, it is. Absolutely devastated. The boys, like you said, have been outstanding. What they've done all season, the last couple of years has been amazing. But the journeys, we're still on that journey. We're still progressing. It's a hard one to take, But the thing about it as well, that group of players, how they're feeling now, that it'll make them better players. It'll make them want to come back and do more and go further. But what they did tonight, they defended so well, and you're just thinking the corners were coming in time after time. They were putting their head where it hurts. They were defending well, and you know what? Trying to play out. So it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be, and it's a sore one, a hard one to take. Yeah, I seen Nuno. It looked like he had a slight tear in his eye because it is emotional. Emotionally and mentally draining. But you know what? They've done us all proud, haven't they? They gave it everything, Alex Rae.
Yeah.
Against a very good team.
I think that's one of the key things that you have to remember, Mikey. This is a top European outfit. They've won this competition numerous times over the last decade. I think your post-match was excellent in terms of be proud of this team, because a couple of years ago, they were languishing in League One. Over the last couple of years, they're on a journey now. They've got a project underway. They've got a great manager. And I think Chris hits the spot there as well when he talks about this is a young squad. Now, one thing I do know about is when you're actually growing in stature, when you're playing against teams like this, you're learning different philosophies, different styles of play. And do you know the most disappointing thing about the whole thing? They coped with every single ball that was thrown into the box. And it was because the short corner got them, they became a wee bit unstuck, which allowed them to get the delivery in. Because normally they were getting out quick and they just switched off for that moment. And this is the fine details, Mikey, where you just don't, at that level, you get punished, and it was just a flat ball and he's just got the glancing header. And that is the kind of parameters you're working at this level, is fine lines. But the actual application and what rate that they boys put in tonight was, I think that's the most disappointing thing for me, is because you put such a shift in, chased the ball for such a long time, and it's to lose it in the last couple of minutes it's a body blow.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing, isn't it? I mean, you look back, Looms, and I don't know how much a part you feel it plays, but 59 games this season, 59. And we've talked about this a couple of times during Matchday Live Extra since the restart. They've only used 20 players in the Premier League. It's a very small squad. A lot of these guys have played an awful lot of those 59 games. No, they have. I think you said it yourself. Is it 383 days this season started? And that's unbelievable. By the way, it technically started about 3 weeks before that because they had to go to China for the Premier League Asian Trophy. Well, there you go. It's a lot of football, a lot of miles travelled as well. But as Alex has already alluded to, it's a young squad. They'll learn from this experience in itself. They'll take it on board. They're on a journey. They believe in what their manager is putting to them. But like you say, it is 59 games. It says it in itself. And you know what? It won't be used as an excuse, because Nuno said from that first game against Crusaders,
no, we'll manage it. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a small squad or not. He made sure it is not going to be used as an excuse, and that just filtered into the group of players that he's got as well. And you know what? They've attacked every game, and they've been outstanding. And it's a sore one. It's a sore one for everyone involved with the club because there's so much work that's went in behind the scenes. But you know what? Teams, they grow from moments like this. You know, the stature, the experience, you know, and then obviously there'll be quality getting added as well, and we go again, and that's what it's all about. You know, you don't kind of detract from the road, detour from the road that you're on. We're on a path. We all believe in the path that we're on, and the players are involved in that as well. But it's a sore one. Mikey, you know, like you say, on another night, we're going into extra time, or we you know what? There was opportunities. You know, the penalty, it's massive, but Jimenez has been outstanding for us this season. And you know what? It's just a real shame that he missed in this Hughes match.
Yeah, quick word on Jimenez, Alex Rae, because, you know, I mean, 27 goals this season. He's actually contributed 37 because of his assists on top of it as well. That's just directly, not just from the work rate that he gets through. And it's harsh because people will point to that penalty miss, and he doesn't deserve it for the season he's had.
No, I think you'll obviously be disappointed because you know the magnitude of tonight's match, Mikey. But when you actually step back and look at the goal return, the assists, it is a thankless task. Chris will tell you, you're playing up front on your own for the majority of the season. It's an absolute shift. And for me, I think it's important to recognise the job he's done. You know, he's getting recognition all over the place. You know, he's got a great following over Mexico as well. We heard the Carlos a few weeks ago. So you look at all these factors and they'll get a rest now. But I think one of the key things now, because we can actually step back now, these guys deserve 59 games. I never played 59 games in any season I ever played in. So, you know, hats off to them for that. It's been an unbelievable journey. And I think because of the infrastructure and the way that the club operate, they will already have identified guys to come in and complement what's already there. And I think that's a brilliant thing what they've done, because the recruitment policy has been brilliant. Yeah. There's been times in previous years where it's not been so good, you know, prior to the new owners that come in. So, you know, you put a lot of confidence in what they're actually doing at the moment, because what you're actually witnessing. And if they can add a few more, a little bit more quality to complement this and go again next season, who knows? Because they've improved year on year.
Yeah.
Well, there's a key point to be made there, isn't there, Looms? In that, you know, they got 7th again for the second year in a row, whilst having to do all these games on top. I mean, look, there will be a lot of interest in a number of these Wolves players, and there should be, because they've been really good. But there may be an element, actually, where some of these young players might look at it and go, if we achieve 7th and a Europa League quarter-final, if we've not got Europe next year, we can have a real push in the league. And then we've got an opportunity to go even further than this in the following season. They came here because there was a dream. You know, the song goes, Nuno had a dream. The dream's not over yet.
No, I think you're spot on. I think that's the exact message that Nuno will be drilling into the players, you know, and the players themselves. You know, we know the group of players that they are. There's some great leaders there. There'll be a few upset players there, but there'll be the experienced ones going around saying what they've got to say. But you're right, Mikey. You know, without that distraction, and it's not been a distraction because we've done ever so well, finishing 7th and getting to the quarters. But without that, then why not? Why not do better in the Premier League, finish higher in the Premier League, set those targets, and like you say, like Alex said, if we bring in a little bit more quality to complement the players that we've already got, make sure that we keep the players that we have, because yeah, of course there's a lot of suitors, but that's part and parcel of football. If you've got good players doing well consistently, there's going to be interest. But it's about what the dream is, you know, about what they want. They're content, they're happy, they're playing regular football. You know, the competition's always a good thing coming into a squad, a small squad. Nuno knows how to manage that. I think his man manager has been excellent. So it is, like you say, that's the spin side of it. And I think that's the side that all the players will be thinking. The Nuno, the staff, without European football, we can really focus on beating where we finished this season in the Premier League.
Absolutely. Final thought from you, Alex Rae?
Listen, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching them domestically and in Europe this year. I thought they've been absolutely outstanding. And we spoke at the start of this season where they could actually go, because to emulate what they did last year was always going to be a tall order because of the European run. but to get to a quarter final as well, and that, so I believe wholeheartedly that the club's going in the right direction, and the fans can see what they're actually given. You know, the players are actually given, but the brand of football is also important. They're playing a style of football that punters actually love watching. So for me, everything's positive at Wolves at the moment. They'll be disappointed tonight, but there's good times ahead.
Alex Rae and Chris Iwelumo, thank you very much indeed for being with us, not just tonight, but your contributions through the season. And of course, Tomo and Dave Edwards and Michael Kiley and Matt Jarvis and Kevin Doyle and Kenny Hibbett earlier and Matt Murray. I could go on and list all the names that have been involved in our Wolves TV coverage throughout this season. Of course, we also did plenty of games for the under-23s as well. I mean, I think I'm close to about 90 commentaries this year. So forgive me for saying this, but I don't want to go anywhere near a football game for a good couple of weeks now. I need a holiday. I need to get away from all of this.
Mikey, come to Scotland. Come to Scotland. It's freezing, big man. You know that.
Mate, they've got to try and peel me off this chair in a minute. I'm not looking forward to it. I've been sat here and not moved for 4 hours. Just to say, on behalf of myself and our producer, Yanni Makarunas, who does all the hard work putting this Matchday Live Extra together, and everybody behind Wolves TV, our media department, our football club, thank you for your support throughout the year. It means an awful lot to the players. They know how much you would have wanted to be here, and I really do feel you would have made a big difference if you were here. It wasn't to be, but one day soon we will all be back together in a stadium. And just remember, the season ended, the dream never ends. Look after yourselves. We'll see you soon.